Happy birthday to you.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, dear John.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you're dead.
After hours football debate for poachers, private eyes,
Could I ask you something personal?
and pole dancers.
I'm not in market for business, love.
Mike Graham's been all three at some point in his career.
Oh, really, you great big sweaty bush idiot?
And I'll tell you what, you were a better pole dancer than presenter, I can tell you that.
The two Mikes on Talk Sport.
Look at the light.
Theories,
Trouble
load of
you
old
is you
cobblers.
use the time always as a
No, I
handbrake
don't.
U-turn to get out of an argument you can't win.
No, I use the time to keep the show going towards the right time frame that it's meant to go in.
Balderdash. Anna Yilta Ohavenda Hesha. Can't you understand me?
No.
Rum. Hey, Porky, you're viral. Everybody thought I got some sort of sexual disease.
This is Talk Sport. I'm Mike Graham, and we are the two Mikes, and it is time to say a very, very good morning to a presumably very happy Mr. Mike Porky Parry. The only problem is he's not actually here. I'm not quite sure where he is. I don't know when he's going to make it in. I don't know what he's doing, and I have really no. What is going on with you?
Well, my new headphones, right?
Your new headphones?
Yeah, they're
with the faux leather bag.
Not my faux leather bag, my leather bag.
It was exposed over the weekend as a faux leather bag.
It's not faux leather.
It is, because somebody sent a similar one in, a picture of it, right, from a catalogue, and it said synthetic leather.
Well, mine's not synthetic. There's nothing synthetic about me or my leather.
It's sprayed with a leather smell.
And this is a Sennheiser, right?
Sennheiser,
pair of...
Every time you say that, I think of Anheuser-Busch.
Anheuser-Busch, yeah, same sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it's genuine. But what's happened is, because they're multi-purpose,
Yeah.
I've been using them over the weekend on another project I'm involved in.
Oh, yeah.
And I've brought the wrong attachment now to put them in the studio.
What a complete numpty
Thank you very much
are.
indeed. David, who is our top man, producer, engineer, you...
That's not what you called him last week.
No, hang on, I'm not sure this is working. He's brought me...
Why don't you come to the look, when I come
it's
to the
not
radio
working.
station, I bring all the things I need with me. You know, it's like when you go to a game,
Yeah.
you bring your money.
Yeah.
You don't turn up at a poker game without the money.
Yeah.
You've done the equivalent of turning up at a poker game without any money.
Hang on. I'm just going to...
Yeah, well, I've got time for this. It's
Look at me,
very
wait a minute.
unprofessional.
Right.
It's incredibly unprofessional.
It works. David, thank you very much indeed. That's excellent. So...
Well, thanks very much indeed for joining us.
Well,
and a very good morning to you. It's 6 minutes past 1.
yeah, very good morning to you.
Thanks for being so prepared.
It wasn't my fault.
You're obviously working too much.
I got them out of my leather bag to find
The
that
faux leather bag.
my leather bag to find that the wrong nozzle was on the end of my...
Well, why don't you bring every nozzle with you?
on the end of my curly cord.
How many nozzles have you got?
When you've got a knackered curly cord, you're not in good shape.
Yeah,
but
well,
anyway...
how many nozzles have you got?
Oh, three.
Why have you got 3?
Well, they, to plug it into different things that
like
I'm
what?
doing.
Well, how many different sizes of headphone jack are there?
There's about 3. Yeah.
About 3?
Yeah.
There's 2, surely.
No. There's
There's
one
the
for
big one and the small one.
No, there's one for a machine I walk around with. There's one for
A machine you walk around
a
with.
laptop in my office down in Surrey, and then of course there's this studio here. There's an appliance I have in the car which I have to.
An appliance?
Yes.
What sort of appliance?
I can't get into that because I'm not sure if it's
You
legal.
can't wear those in the
but-
car, surely.
Well, I do.
You wear those in the car?
Yeah, this is the point. Yeah.
No, that is illegal.
Well, this is
I mean,
what I'm
since you're
thinking.
so hot on the highway code, right, which you got, I think, 3 out of 10 on in the quiz, you're reporting me to the police every time you think there's something wrong with my car.
Yeah.
If you wear those and drive, you are committing an offence.
Well, I'm not sure you are really.
Yes, you are. You're not supposed to wear headphones while you're driving. That's against the highway code. What you're certainly not allowed to wear are the kind of headphones you've got on, which completely block out all other sound.
Did I tell you, by the way, the new Rolls Royce? Right, I think I might have told you this, but if I have, I'll tell you again.
Right.
The internal audio system is so sophisticated.
Yes.
Do they call it an audio system now?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, the
I
internal-
think you have told me about this.
Yeah.
Does it block out sirens? Or something?
Well, yes, it does. So if a police car goes past with a siren, it not only blocks it out, but it raises the sound inside your Rolls Royce.
Well, that's not good, is it?
So that it doesn't interfere with your listening experience. You see what I mean?
Well, surely you need to know that there's a siren coming so you get out of the way.
Well, I don't know about that. But anyway, I think it's a really good idea because there's too many sirens in the world. And I'll tell you something.
Well, there's a lot of sirens on this show.
No, I'm telling you, the next time an ambulance goes past me and I'm on the pavement and the sirens at maximum point, I'm going to sue the NHS because I believe it could be deafening me. I honestly
You
believe...
spend half your life with a pair of headphones on.
No, I
Don't you
honestly...
think that's bad for
No,
your ears?
I honestly believe those sirens are so loud.
They are loud.
They actually hurt your
They're
ears.
yeah, but they're loud for a reason.
They hurt the hammer in your ears and
what?
the hammer. And I anyway, listen, none of that. Before we get talking about England
Yeah.
and Ross Barkley the
Yeah.
Great.
What about
and-
these pictures?
I was about to say, where did you steal this picture from?
Well,
this is an outrage.
These pictures have been acquired.
It's an outrage.
Let's just say these pictures have been
It's
acquired.
my copyright.
Yeah, well, they've been acquired.
Yes.
The copyright belongs, I believe, to the person who took the picture. Now, you are in this picture with
Yes.
the lovely former Miss Chester, Trudy,
Yes, that's
who
right.
many people have said is actually not a bad-looking young woman.
Well, exactly.
Way too good for you, obviously.
That's a.
Let me read you a few of the tweets we've got in so far. Danny
Yeah.
says, 2 foxes in one picture.
Yeah.
Lawrence says, I can't believe that donkey pulled a beauty like her.
What?
Dan says, it's Mick Hucknall. Scott says, lady killer.
Yeah.
Humpty says, no way, this is an old photo from the Star Wars set of Princess Leia and Chewbacca.
Oh, it's a bit harsh.
Woodenhead says, did an animal die on his head?
What?
And then here's one, Den, who says, hi, this is Porky, Rogered and out. A couple of people have asked what can only be described as a slightly indelicate question, which is, was this taken before or after Rogerisation?
Oh, I'm not answering that. This is an outrage. Now, the thing is...
There's a load more here,
thing
by the way.
is, the young lady in this...
Guillermo says, I wonder if he slipped her a homemade business card.
Well, I'm not. You see, I'm not responding to those double entendres and that sort of thing. I just don't do that. What I would say
Chevy
is,
says hashtag sex victim.
sex victim. Who? Me or her?
Well, could be either. I think.
Yeah. Now the point is that that was my real hair at the time. In fact, I've got one here saying that picture of old Porky makes him look like a young Cilla Black.
Yeah.
His hair is so
Well,
orange.
a lot of people are saying Mick Hucknall. It's very, very red.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a very attractive picture, actually.
Well, that's very kind of you.
Now, there's been some kind of mistake on the tweet that went out.
Yes.
It says, with Trudy, formerly Miss Chester, 1948. Obviously, that's not right.
No, that's what you did as a joke.
Well, no, it was a slip of the finger.
You are a joke.
What date was the picture actually taken?
Round about 1980.
1980?
Round about 1980. And I have to say that I don't know...
Poor woman. I mean, she looks so happy.
Well, I don't know if...
I mean, I can't imagine that smile would have remained there for very long.
Oh, yeah, it did.
Knowing you as I do.
It did.
And the sort of nastiness that would later ensue.
It did. Don't even worry about it.
And the bladderisation.
No. What I was going to say is that...
Fantastic picture.
I don't think that the young lady in there, whose name is Trudy, you're absolutely right, I don't even know where you got that from.
Yeah. Well, we have our ways and means
I'm
of
not
doing
sure
research.
she's aware her picture has now been circulated on Twitter because, she has some ownership to it if she's in it, I would imagine.
Well,
I don't know.
generally speaking, as I was saying to you, the copyright actually doesn't necessarily belong to the subject of the photograph.
No,
it belongs,
doesn't, no.
generally speaking, to the person who took the picture.
It does, actually.
So I don't know who took it.
Neither do I. I mean,
was this not on your trip down to Cornwall?
Yes, it was. It was holiday in Cornwall, but I can't even remember pictures being taken.
Did you not go with another couple?
Yes, we did, yes.
So it must be one of the other couple that took
Well,
it.
it might have been, but I mean, although we went with another couple, we didn't sort of go out on day trips every day, you know what I mean? They went off and did things, we went off and did
you
things.
just maybe got some stranger to take
Yeah,
it.
it could have been some stranger.
I've also got my hands on a passport booth photo of the two of you where she looks quite enamoured.
Goodness
Although
gracious, where do you get that from?
In one of them she looks as if she's quite bladdered, actually.
What? It's a bit harsh.
And then there's another one of you wearing the most ridiculous-looking flares.
Well, we used to wear things called bags in those days.
With a horrible-looking sort of brown car in the foreground.
Oh, that's
and then there's one of you
that would be the
climbing
Ford Escort.
There's one of you climbing what looks like a sort of tree stump.
Yeah, I think we went to a chimpanzee sanctuary or something.
Why did you climb the thing?
Well, you were invited to sort of get into the chimpanzee experience.
Oh, okay.
That's what the
All right,
point of going there was.
we'll be sending some more of these out.
Well, you're sure about this?
As we go. And if Trudy happens to be listening or happens to recognise herself, then...
Well, if anybody knows her or recognises her, then give her a shout.
Well, I mean, she looks a lot younger than she would now, presumably.
Well, she still looked very, very nice, because last time I saw her was around about 1990, I think.
Oh, right, yeah.
And she looked exactly the same then, so she's one of these ladies who will still look magnificent today, of that I'm sure.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, we'll talk a lot more about that in the coming hours. I'm slightly concerned about talking about England because, as I was saying at the top of the show, here we have a situation where England have won 10 games out of 10.
Yes.
They've qualified absolutely without any problem whatsoever.
Yeah.
They might not have exactly lit everybody's kind of touch paper by playing the way that they played.
Yeah.
But isn't it extraordinary that, if you're a Welsh fan, you're absolutely getting ready for a massive party tonight at the Andorra game.
Yes.
If you're a Northern Ireland fan, you're probably still partying from last week.
Yes.
And yet, as England fans, there's nothing really much to celebrate or look forward to because everybody kind of knows what's going to happen.
To me, that game tonight illustrated exactly what is wrong with this competition. There's far too many teams in it. I mean, for instance, the stat I picked up on the way in, listening to the boys on the earlier show, is that 3 teams that finish third in the groups in the competition finals next year will go through to the round of 16.
Yeah.
Because, of course, it's 6 groups of 4, so the top 2 from every group is 12. And then you take 4 more teams. It's ridiculous.
But also, one of the groups only got 5 teams in it, hasn't it, instead of 6?
In the ones that are being played
in the qualifiers, yeah.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
So how does that work?
I don't know. I don't know how that works, and I don't know how it's been gerrymandered into this sort of situation.
They might as well have just got another team in,
But the point is, they all went out to Vilnius, to Lithuania.
Yeah.
I don't think I've been to Lithuania, but I've been...
I thought you had.
No, I've been to Latvia, which is next door.
OK.
And I remember the ground there was, that was... I mean...
Well, this one had a fake pitch, didn't it?
It's terrible. I mean, to allow your players, who are worth millions and millions of pounds, to play on a surface like that, which could easily rupture joints, ligaments, whatever you call it, I think it's an absolute disgrace. The ground was literally, a few years ago, when Brighton were in terrible trouble and didn't have their new Amex ground they've got now, they played at a place which was a school sports ground.
Right.
What was it called? Horndean or somewhere? Or Hornchurch? No, Hornchurch. Withdean, thank you, Withdean, that's right, yeah. And I went there once because it's only 40 minutes down the road from Stockbroker Belt territory. And
time, by the way.
Chester were playing there. Just listen, will you?
Well, just look at the time.
And I climbed over the fence.
If you'd arrived on time, we wouldn't be running late.
I climbed over the fence of the tennis court next door to get into the ground.
Why didn't you just pay like everybody else?
Because the ground was supposed to be full.
No.
And the only other way of getting in was to go into the boozer, buy a couple of pints, and then slip out into the beer garden at the back and climb over that fence and get into the ground. And that's what the ground in what was it called? Vilnius looked like tonight.
Yeah.
It was just a municipal ground. And it's ridiculous that clubs and countries like that are playing in international competition. It makes a joke of everything.
All right. I can see you're in a bad mood already.
No,
he
I'm
is
not
Porky
in a good
Parry.
mood.
I'm Mike Graham. Check out the Two Mikes Twitter and you'll see a couple more pictures of his trip down to Cornwall with the former Miss Chester.
Yes.
Trudy. This is Talk Sport.
On DAB Digital Radio and 1089 and 1053 AM.
The pressure's on now.
Relieve the itch. Talk Sport.
She's a perfect 10, but she wears a 12. Baby, keep a little 2 for me. She could be sweet 16, busting out of the seams. It's still love in the first degree.
When he's at my game with a big fat A.
This is Talk Sport. We are the Two Mikes, and I'm delighted to say that Mr. Parry is now here. His headphones appear to be working properly. We will have, of course, another edition of Winners and Losers to play a little bit later on.
And by the way, I've been working on that all weekend.
Have you?
Oh,
how could you have been working on it all weekend? Because you were rather busy over the weekend,
No. Yeah, I was quite busy.
Were you?
Yeah, I did another show yesterday, actually.
Yeah,
It's
so
called
I
Clash of the
understand.
Titans.
I didn't hear it.
Yeah, sorry?
I didn't hear it.
What do you mean you didn't hear it?
I didn't hear it.
Why not?
Because I was out.
You're right. You should have taken something with headphones on. Listen to it.
Something with headphones on?
Yes.
Well, I might have had the wrong jack.
Oh, the wrong jack, yeah.
No, I was walking the dog.
Oh, I see. So another fit of pique, another Sunday afternoon fit of pique, because you weren't invited in.
No, not at all. No, I'm
Eh?
not interested in working on a Sunday.
Some good people on that show, mate.
Really? Like who?
Jason Cundy.
Jason Cundy's a top man.
Top man, and Mark Saggers.
Mark Saggers, of course.
Yeah.
How was he relating to you this time?
Sags was good. I mean, he keeps
I
control
got a lot of
the show.
people on Twitter saying that, he told you to shut up, stop interrupting.
No.
Stop trying to just, force your views on everybody else.
No,
That's what I heard.
No, it was none of that, mate. Honestly, there's none of that. Sags knows who's really in charge in the studio, and he and I are both in it. You know what I mean?
Did he not also mention you could buy your book for a penny? From Wayne Rooney?
Yeah, he made a rather pathetic reference to the fact that, the occasionally you do get discount deals on Amazon, is it? What is it? No, eBay.
That's one of the places you can get them. No,
yeah,
Amazon you can get them for £100 for £1. That's a great bargain for Christmas.
No, don't be ridiculous.
I'm thinking of buying 100 for £1.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Right, okay, yeah.
And just kind of giving them out to people.
Well, do you know what you could do with them then?
Yeah, what?
You'd use them to prop up your old wreck when the wheel falls off next time, okay?
Well, it'd be good enough.
Like to be useful to
you. It'd be a lot
you.
better than reading the book, anyway. Well, at least it'd be of some final use to me.
You read it, mate. It'd be an education for you. But
now, would you like me to read you a few more tweets that have come in on the subject of your amazing picture?
Certainly, if you
I've just
like.
tweeted out, by the way, on the Two Mikes account, a picture of Porky climbing a tree, which is apparently in a chimp sanctuary.
It was,
somewhere down in Cornwall.
That's right.
Paddy says, that looks like Colin Hendry. I'm joking, Porky. I have to hand it to you, sir. My question is, what type of drug did you give her? Shouldn't it?
Well, there's a few here from people saying, was that poor woman blind and had you just rescued her from drowning? Is that why she looks so grateful?
Yeah.
I mean,
Simon,
come on,
says,
fellas. I was quite a catch, as a younger
apparently
man.
so. Simon says, Mike, she's a beauty. How did you manage to pull her? You're like Gordon Strachan with a mullet.
Gordon Strachan with a mullet? I don't think so.
Another one here from, where are we? Tom, who says, she does look quite an attractive lady. Porky's punching well above his weight. She didn't become Mrs. Parry. I wonder why.
Well, I don't know. That's in the midst of time, mate. A long time ago. But there we are. But
I have to say, she is one of the more attractive women I've seen you out with.
Well, yeah. But I mean, I want to know who's supplied you with these pictures because it's. I mean, okay.
Well, I did used to be an investigative journalist, and I have my ways of finding these things.
I kind of, live a little bit in the public eye because we broadcast to millions of people.
Yeah.
But I don't know if Trudy wanted to be thrust into the, the arena.
Hey? She what?
Put into the arena, you know what I mean?
Well, I'm not sure.
The trouble with you is, you see, your mind is such a sewer that if I mention one word, because you were picking up there on the word thrust, weren't you?
Well, yeah, you started talking about Trudy and thrusting. I didn't know what you meant.
She was thrust into the public arena, but
okay.
of course,
I thought you were going to say something else.
No, yeah, because you've got a smutty little schoolboy's mind that thinks thrusting is something that's connected with physical actions involving romantic situations. That's you, isn't it?
Here's one from Becky.
It's you all over.
Who says, Trudy is lovely. Why does she have such poor taste in men?
Oh, dear
Shocking.
me. That is. Who's that from?
From Becky in New Zealand.
Oh, that's very nice, Becky. Thanks ever so much indeed. And, send us a postcard reader when you win Miss New Zealand, Becky, would you? Yeah, and we'd like to publicise that as well.
There's no need to be horrible to Becky.
I'm not being horrible.
She's poked fun at you.
I'm not being horrible.
Alan says, that's never Parry. It's probably one of his mates.
No, it's not. No, it is definitely me. Who'd want to be me? I mean, that's a good question, isn't it? Now,
extraordinary stuff.
I want to know about this. I want to know about this chap that you had a dust up with on Bexhill-on-Sea pier.
What chap? Well, first of all, there isn't a pier at Bexhill.
All right, on the seafront then.
There is a promenade.
Right, promenade.
I don't have a dust up with anybody. I just happened to have a chat with a guy who recognised me. I was out walking the dog.
Yes.
And had the kids with me.
Well, lots of people recognise you because when you hove into view, you close out the sunshine.
Yeah,
you're so massive.
Well, I mean, I realise I'm quite a bit taller than you, but there's no reason for you to be in any way jealous.
No, you have a greater body mass than me.
Yeah, I do, because I'm quite a lot taller.
Why did you upset this poor chap?
I didn't upset him. He was
saw
very happy
a
to see
note put
him.
out saying that, you seem to be too busy to talk and all this kind of stuff.
Where did you see that?
Well, it doesn't matter what I saw.
Are you going to produce this note?
Well, how do you think I knew about it?
Well, you're going to produce a note?
I'm not saying anything.
No, I want to see the note.
Well, tell me about the encounter then.
No, I want to see the note. There's a place down by Bexhill on Sea called the Sovereign Light Cafe.
Yes.
Now, you might have heard of that.
The Sovereign Light Cafe?
Yeah.
Oh, crikey, in Bexhill-on-Sea?
Yeah.
Of course, I've never heard of it, you idiot. Why would I hear about a cafe in Bexhill-on-Sea?
Well, you might have heard about it because there was a song written about it.
Oh, rubbish.
By Keane.
Who?
Keane. Remember Keane?
Keane? No.
Keane. You don't remember Keane?
No, I don't, honestly.
Even though the Keane lead singer has been on the Sports Breakfast once or twice.
Oh, has he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I remember them a bit. Yeah.
Well, they come from Sussex.
Sussex.
Right.
Okay.
And in fact, one of their albums is a picture of the very same Bexhill seafront.
Really?
Yeah. With the Delaware Pavilion.
And where did that album get to? Number one?
I think it did. Yeah.
Did it? Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Sovereign Light Cafe was quite
impressive.
Song.
That's quite impressive.
Anyway, so they used to go to the Sovereign Light Cafe as kids, right? So they've written about it. So it's become this kind of slightly legendary place. But it's a very nice little cafe.
Okay.
I was there and we were having a couple of hot chocolates with the kids.
Do they sell booze?
They do actually. Yeah.
Oh right, okay. I might go down then.
Yeah, you might quite like it. I never drink there because I only ever get a cappuccino, but the cappuccino machine was broken, and also I was driving. So I had the dog, and the dog had a little run on the beach, and then we were walking along. They were scooting around, and this guy was kind of walking slightly ahead of me, and he kept sort of turning round, and then eventually he had a couple of kids.
That's probably because he wondered why the ground was shaking behind him.
Yeah, well, you can make all these jokes if you want, but that wasn't the reason.
Folks, ground shaking, Colossus stumbling
around
in Bexhill.
He just turned around. I kind of caught up with him. He just went, "Hello, Mike," and I did a slight double take in case it was somebody that I knew, but I didn't particularly know him. And then we just had a very nice chat, and I went on my way, and so did he.
Okay, does he listen to the show?
He does listen to the show. He asked if we were doing another show down there somewhere.
Yeah.
And I said, well, actually, the Delaware Pavilion, which is a lovely, beautiful kind of old Art Deco building, which has a big theatre in it. I said, well, we might do it there. I don't know.
We had an invitation to go to Wimbledon next year.
Wimbledon?
The theatre in Wimbledon.
Oh, I thought you meant the tennis.
No, not the tennis. Oh, we can get an invitation to go there. No, it's a theatre in Wimbledon, which is quite a nice location. It's a nice place, Wimbledon, so we might have to think about that one. But what was this chap's name?
It's at the end of the district line, isn't it?
It is, yeah. What was this chap's name?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
I didn't ask him.
What, somebody greets you in the street and starts heaping praise upon you and you don't even know their name?
I didn't ask him his name.
I have to admit, I was on the train coming into town on, I can't remember what day was it now. I think it was Friday, because I had a meeting in town on Friday to discuss big, important things.
Oh, yeah? And more stuff that you're going to tell me about, or is this
Well, you know, shaking and moving and all that kind of stuff.
You're just kind of trying to branch out on your own again, aren't you?
Sunday,
that's what you're doing, isn't it?
Sunday I had to come in.
You've done this before.
No. Sunday I had to come in and to do the Clash of the Titans. That's a show you weren't invited on, by the way.
Yeah, I didn't hear it.
And
how did it go?
But anyway,
how did it go?
How did the clash?
I mean,
go?
the only
Extremely
other thing I heard about
Yes.
was that people were accusing you of stealing a load of my ideas.
No.
Yeah, they were. That was what they said.
Really? Which
They
idea in
weren't
particular?
They weren't specific.
No, of course they weren't,
No.
because you haven't got any ideas, so how could I steal them?
I've had loads of ideas, actually.
Yeah, mate, that's like saying, that Yes.
You sound like Nicholas Soames.
I broke into Chester Football Club's trophy room and stole all their cups because I haven't got any. You see what I mean?
Right.
I mean that's as crazy as it is.
The only thing that's true about that story is that you do quite often have stories that start with "I broke into."
No, not at all. But anyway, no, it was a great show. Bounced along, Old Sag's masterful in his control of it and all that. So
I told you to stop interrupting.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. The point is, he does realise that I have such a contribution to make to a show. Sometimes that contribution has to be rationed a little bit to make sure we get every possible point of view. So I don't
listen
worry
to this
about
from
it.
H in Hull. He's
Right.
not very happy with me.
Right.
It's just 3 hours of listening to Goldstein slagging off Hodgson and now another 5 hours of Mike Graham knocking the England football team.
Yeah.
And in fact, everything English. Your anti-English rants are starting to ruin a good show, Mike Graham.
I think it's...
Why does he think I'm anti-English?
I think it's disgraceful.
Why does he think that?
Well, no, nobody's anti-English, but the point is, part of the old Titan show yesterday was about what did we think of Roy Hodgson, and I'm afraid I'm still not convinced. I just heard Rodney Marsh on the last show saying you can't replace him now. Why not? He's no good at doing tournaments.
My only point is that isn't it ridiculous that England won 10 games out of 10?
Yes.
And there is no feeling of elation, no feeling of
whatsoever.
excitement, no feeling of anticipation.
None
the only
whatsoever.
feeling is one of kind of resignation because you know that when England go to the finals of the Euros, H in Hull, that nothing very interesting is going to happen. If you think something interesting is going to happen, then do tell me what it's going to be. But I am not, I can assure you, anti-English just because I criticise the English football team.
You're not, but we have unearthed an axis in the England team that can be built upon, and that is Theo Walcott and Ross Barkley, OK? Because in our penultimate game, they were dynamic.
Yeah, but they won't be
2-0
playing,
victory.
will they? They won't be starting the game.
And then last night, Lithuania 3-0.
It's talking about Lithuania and Estonia.
No, I know. But Ross Barkley was outstanding again. And Theo Walcott is easily England's best player. And you should take a sheet of white paper, put Theo Walcott's name on it, put Ross Barkley behind him, then build a team around them. That's the way to do it.
All right. Well, it's an interesting point of view. We'll hear some from Roy Hodgson coming up in a little while. Coming up next, though, we're going to talk to Steve Brenner, find out what he makes of England's campaign. Steve Brenner, remember him?
Excellent.
This is Talk Sport.
When you need all the latest form and odds on all the day's sporting action, and you need it fast, you need the Coral Daily Download. Get all the latest news and great offers on all the big games and all the biggest race meetings in one essential package. Delivered to your ears at the speed of sound. Don't miss the Coral Daily Download every morning on the Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast from 6 on Talk Sport with Coral. Your best bet for breakfast.
This is the unique go-kart feeling of a turbocharged Mini Cooper 3-door hatch. And this is how it feels knowing that you got it for just £189 a month plus initial rental. Book a test drive at your nearest Mini Centre or mini.co.uk/turbo. 48-month hire agreement from Mini Financial Services, £2,399 initial rental. Subject to status, guarantees may be required. Available for new vehicles ordered by 31st of December and registered by 31st of March. Participating retailers only. Mileage and other conditions apply when you return the vehicle. Visit mini.co.uk/turbo.
We're the thinking soldier. So you have this sense of feeling invincible.
A group of ex-Special Forces soldiers are about to show 30 civilians what SAS selection really takes.
The whole point of selection is to actually break down the facade, this facade we all carry around.
It's not about who's first or who's the strongest, it's about who's made of the right stuff. When you're in the face of adversity, are you going to give up?
I feel a bit like a boy in a man's world.
New series SAS Who Dares Win starts Monday at 9 on Channel 4.
Do you know Trustford's Transit Show Live is approaching October 12th to 25th?
Why are you talking like that?
Marking 50 years as the UK's #1 commercial vehicle.
Yes, but why are you talking like that?
They're giving away a free sat-nav with selected vehicles.
OK, I get it. You can stop now.
But I have not told you where to go yet.
I'll tell you where to go, mate.
The Trustford Transit Show Live, 12th to the 25th of October. Just drive straight to your local Trustford dealer.
Take next left, go 600 metres, turn right.
Hi, I'm Lewis, a network engineer at Transport for London. Right now, on the A406 North Circular Road at Neasden, we're strengthening 2 bridges to prolong their lives and improving the junction. Work is currently taking place until mid-December between Brentfield Road and Neasden Lane. These improvements are all part of the road modernisation plan to help make our roads safer, more reliable and more welcoming. Whilst they're being made, there will be some disruption, so avoid travelling through the area, especially during peak times if possible. Please plan ahead and allow more time for your journey. Thank you.
To know your travel options and see maps of the affected areas, search TfL A406 Neasden. Transport for London. Every journey matters.
Talk Sport on DAB Digital Radio and 1089 and 1053 AM.
Freedom for sport.
Can we kick it? Yes, we can. Talk Sport.
Talk Sport, we are the two Mikes. There will, of course, be an episode of Winners and Losers coming up in a little while. There'll be a podcast coming out as well. Nick in Plymouth has texted into 81089 and he says the monkey sanctuary is in Loo in Cornwall. How did Porky escape?
I do love jokes like that this time of the night.
Very well
fantastic,
done. That's the
I'm cracking up here, cracking up I am.
And here's one from California Alex. He says, I'm shocked they had colour pictures when Porky was that age.
What?
He thinks that...
what kind of insults are these? Remember, if you're insulting me, you're insulting that lovely lady, Trudy, on that picture. So, you know...
former Miss Chester.
Exactly. Just be a bit more gentlemanly, please.
Cameron says, you'll have to ask Porky about Clash of the Titans and his low-blow insult on it directed at you, MG.
What? Low-blow insult?
Yeah, what insult did you direct at me?
I don't even remember mentioning your name, Mike, so I wouldn't worry about it.
There are some who say you call me an oaf.
Oh, dwarf. You know, it might have sounded like that. You know what I mean? Dwarf. I might have been dwarf. Might have been laughing. You know what I mean? But I'm sure I didn't.
So you're denying it then?
Well, of course. I mean, I wouldn't possibly insult my, my.
Well, you do it when I'm here. There's no reason why you wouldn't do it when I'm not here.
I do it to your face. I wouldn't do it behind your back. I wouldn't insult my broadcasting partner in a way like that. You know what I mean?
Well, let's
hope
we haven't got any audio evidence of it.
Let's talk
to Steve Brenner.
Jose.
Let's talk to Steve Brenner, a man we haven't spoken to for many a month, actually.
Indeed.
And find out what he makes of the whole reason why England have won 10 games out of 10 and nobody can get excited about it. Steve, very good morning to you.
Mike, how are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you.
We are very well. I mean, I don't think I'm being over cynical here, but I mean, I was saying earlier in the show, Wales fans are going to have this big party down in Cardiff, aren't they? When they no matter what happens against Andorra, really, but they'll probably win. Northern Ireland are still having a great big party for qualifying and getting in. England, on the other hand, have got 10 wins out of 10, have gone to the Euro finals with a spotless record, and yet it doesn't feel like a celebration.
No, because, I mean, you look at our past records, you look at what's happening in the cricket, you look at what's happening in the rugby. You just, these tournaments I think now we're just apathetic about them for the fact that our record in them recently has been appalling, I think. And I think, again, just like the World Cup, I think they'll go there with not many people really thinking they'll do a great deal. But, I do feel for Hodgson in a way. What else can he do? He's got a perfect record, he's gone through. He's trying to blood some young players and get a bit of freshness about the squad, which I definitely think he did tonight or last night. And, they're going to go there and give it their best shot. They're going to win it, probably not, and everyone will be on the downer and everyone will hate them. But that's just the way we evolve at tournaments. We never really seem to crack it in many sports. And, I just think that sort of the pressure and the negativity just carries over to the players. But, if they make a good start, then you never know. But it's never easy, is it?
It really isn't.
No, I mean, when you say negativity, Steve, isn't it really looking at reality? Nobody wants to be negative about it. It's just the way the world is. And aren't we all, encouraged to get wrapped up in false euphoria and we've got to be more realistic about it?
No, I think there is an element of that. I think we recognise that we're not one of the best teams in the world. We're not one of the teams of the best teams in Europe, but I think you'll get a select few that will be sort of, digging into them right from the, from the start, saying we're not good enough, this, that and the other. So it's reality, but yet that negativity can also creep into the reality as well, can't it?
Yeah. Now, Steve, what has Roy Hodgson got to do from these 10 unbeaten games? He's got to take the best out of it. And now, he keeps talking about quality friendlies coming up. Well, what's a quality friendly, for goodness sake? No such thing, really. I know they're quite good teams that we're playing, but he's now got to take the best elements of what he's discovered in these 10 unbeaten games, i.e., the presence of Theo Walcott, the presence of Ross Barkley, and start to develop a brand new looking team that's going to go to France next year and actually do something positive.
Exactly, do us proud. No, I mean, that's his job. That's why he's paid millions of pounds a year. This is now the onus is on him, whereas all the players are continuing now to going to be finishing the season. You know, heaven only knows who's going to be fit and still standing by the time the next May comes around. But, you know, he's got to try and find a way with that nucleus of those young players. You know, you look at guys like Sterling, Kane, Barkley, you know, those three in particular, and then you've still got Rooney, Walcott, Oxlade-Chamberlain. I mean, surely someone you can mould a team around that. You know, I mean, it's interesting watching that Rooney documentary the other week when he said how with Capello he came in and had a great record, but he was disappointed at the way that he actually interacted with the players. And I think, you know, ultimately it comes down to the manager. You can argue for all night about whether or not we create good players, but I'm sorry, but even those five we just mentioned there are quality, good, young, quality players.
Well, exactly, those five you've mentioned, plus the other sort of more established players like Rooney. I mean, you know, there surely can't be too many teams at the finals of the Euros who've got better individual players than that. That's the bit that I think puzzles us all so much, because in the end, you don't think that Roy Hodgson's learned anything from Brazil, and you don't see it on the pitch, do you?
No, you don't.
Then, you know, look at that team that went to Brazil with, it still had the likes of Lampard, Gerrard, all those sort of old guys hanging around. This has got a bit of more of a distinct sort of freshness about it. But I think also to play devil's advocate, if this talk show now was in Holland, then it would be, you know, the conversations would be that they're not going to qualify at all, and they'd be looking at us ironically and saying how wonderful we are and how we're cruising and we've got this, that, and the other. So it has to be placed in some sort of perspective. But I just think it's our natural sort of pose that when it comes to these tournaments, we just do get a little bit downbeat because we know what's gone on before. And, you know, the rugby, although it's, you know, you can't compare it, but the rugby was a case in point exactly about the disappointments it brings. You know, people just get excited
but more for me, more disappointing about the rugby is the dithering at the RFU in the same way that there's been dithering at the FA about making any kind of decision about who's supposed to lead the organisation, because clearly there are those people at the RFU who are like those at the FA who want to keep somebody who's got, you know, a specialism in failure.
Sure, you know, there's inherent problems in all those sort of organisations, aren't they? But, you know, they've had 4 years to plan for it. England have like a 2-year cycle, don't they? So, you know, Hodgson's been in the mould and been in the job now for 3-4 years. Already had one tournament under his belt, 2 tournaments under his belt. So, you know, you've got to look to him now that if he doesn't deliver this time, and rightly with the FA, they're holding back because they want to see how he gets on this tournament before making a decision on his future. And they've really got to produce. There's no, you know, that's the bottom line. It's no good just they're turning up there. They've got to get to the semi-finals. It's, you know, simple as that. I think anything less is a failure.
Yeah. Do you think Roy Hodgson should even have been given the opportunity to get us to another tournament after his, you know, hopeless performance in the Brazil World Cup?
Well, I mean, again, but you know what. Let's say the RFU, they want continuity. I am a bit of a sort of traditionalist. I do like to see a guy sort of stick with it and try and work at it for a few years. And who was going to come in? Brendan Rodgers, Pardew. I mean, the quality of replacement is pretty thin at the moment. I think they're sort of loath to go back to the Capello days or even Sven, bless him. You know, they probably want an English manager, but yet who's really ready to take that mantle on? So I thought it was the right to stick with him. Now it's up to him to produce, isn't it? He talks a great game, but it's up to him to produce it, isn't it, and mould that team.
It's interesting, actually, that Sam Allardyce...
has he?
No, Sam Allardyce has got a very badly timed book coming out at the moment, Steve. And the thing is, Sam Allardyce was out of the game. So he's obviously gone off and written this book, and he thinks this book is going to come out whilst he's on his sabbatical away from the game, may never come back to it. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, he gets sucked back into it. He's now still the manager. And
he now wants to bring Peter Reid back as well.
Yeah, and tomorrow's serialisation, or today's serialisation, he's slagging off all his fellow managers, you know, like Arsene Wenger. But the point of my story, Steve, is in his first serialisation yesterday, he'd said how much he still wants to be the England manager. So, you know, there was one contender who was banging on the door saying I can do a better job than Roy Hodgson, and I personally think he would have done.
Yeah, well, very possibly.
Yeah, in his book Bolton Pomp, wasn't it? That's when the sort of the bang, you know, the drum was banging for him. But
yeah,
you know, Allardyce, you think that Hodgson would get a rough ride. How many people do you think would be cocking their nose when Sam Allardyce would be appointed as England manager? I mean, I think he'd be right up against it from the start. And I just don't think he's got enough European experience, really, or he's got no international experience. I mean, at least with Hodgson, the other thing I like about him is he's done the rounds. He's been managing every other country. He's managed national teams before.
Yes.
I just think, although he probably thinks he'll be the best England manager ever, probably wouldn't be, and he'll never become
Yeah.
manager.
Yeah.
He'll be Sunderland for 18 months to get sacked, and then he'll just go back to his villa.
Yeah, okay.
Well, that is the problem. And you'd have to say that
yeah.
there's a pretty good chance that he will not be taking England to the next World Cup
Yeah.
because the FA say he's going to have to prove himself, and I can't see him doing it, to be honest. 08717 22 33 44. There's an NFL game on tonight. We'll keep you updated with the score in that as well. Winners and losers to come too. This is Talk Sport.
It's in a league of its own.
From real people. Conditions apply. Talk Sport.
This is Talk Sport. We are the two mics. There is an NFL game on tonight. We will keep you updated with the score as well. Do you know who's playing tonight?
Say again?
Do you know who's playing tonight?
Who's playing what?
NFL. There's a live NFL game on. Look, as we speak, it's on.
So why are you pointing this out to me? What's that got to do with our show?
The people listening to the show
what's that got to do with the price of fish?
Well, it's nothing to do with the price of fish.
I want to know what's got to do with the price of fish.
Well, never mind the price of fish. People like
our
to know
audience
what the score
don't care. Our audience do not care.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
And at the moment, the score is Pittsburgh Steelers 0.
Ooh.
San Diego Chargers 7.
Oh, no.
Right?
Oh, no. The Chargers, they're not 7-0 up, are they?
They are, yeah.
Oh, God
and
it's
the first quarter, so, we'll keep you updated on all that.
Oh,
you see, you mock
crikey.
this. You mock this sport, right?
Give me
First
a
of all,
soda a soda and a dog and some fries.
What's wrong with you? You're like having some kind of flashback.
No, nobody watches this.
Yeah, but they do. The point is, and also, what you should know as the seeker of truth and justice, and the man who pretends that he knows and sees into the future.
Yes.
This game is going to become more and more important to Premier League football.
No.
Yes, it is. It's going to become important to Tottenham Hotspur. It's going to become important to West Ham United. It's going to become important to all the teams in London and elsewhere who play in the Premier League, because the money that is going to be funneled through the Premier League from the NFL is going to increase year on year. And if you can't see that, then you're missing a trick.
In the same way that the world's been trying to impose soccer, i.e., our version of football, on the Americans for the last 40 years.
Right.
So the Americans...
How did the Americans do in the last World Cup?
So the Americans have been trying to impose American football on us for the last 25 years.
Yeah, but at the moment it is working, because there will soon be a team based in London, probably at Tottenham Hotspur's new stadium. There will be more and more games played in London.
No.
And there will be more and more money coming in, and more and more co-ownership, would you believe?
That's all rubbish.
Who owns Fulham, for example?
Who owns Fulham?
Yeah.
Same guy who owns the old what's-her-name is over there.
The what's-her-name is over there?
Yeah, you know.
The Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, nobody cares about the Jacksonville Jaguars. All I'm saying is it does get a popularity surge for about 10 days when they have a game at Wembley, and then just goes away again.
No.
The most interesting...
That's going to change.
No, the most interesting...
The whole structure of Tottenham's new financial kind of stadium stroke, surrounding area is based on income from the NFL.
But that won't work, I'm afraid.
Oh, so you're predicting that Tottenham are going to go down the gurgler?
I'm not saying they're going down the gurgler. I'm saying that I think it's a flawed financial mechanism, OK?
Right.
The most interesting thing that everybody likes about American football are the cheerleader girls who come out and perform before the game starts.
That's typical of you.
No, it's not typical.
That is so typical of you.
No, it's not typical. I'm saying that's what most people...
pick up on some nice-looking young women dancing around.
No, that's what most people recognise these games.
Last time you and I went to Crystal Palace, right? Did they have cheerleaders?
I think they did.
They did?
I think they did, yeah. Yeah, I think they did.
Have you seen cheerleaders at football matches in other areas of the country?
West Ham.
West Ham?
Yeah.
Where do you think they got that idea from?
Used to have the Hamettes, or whatever they're called.
Hamettes,
that's right, yeah. Well, they got it obviously from American football.
So it's already had a bit of an influence on some Premier League football teams.
So I'm saying it's a good thing. Now, listen, I want to talk to you about images. What are the most embarrassing images you've seen in the last 72 hours?
Embarrassing?
Yeah, because I'll tell you what I have seen, which is so embarrassing.
Well, the one of you, sort of emerging from the sea, not like a scene from Here to Eternity.
Yes. I thought that was quite a nice image, actually.
It's not a bad image, I have to say.
Thank you.
And
although
I wouldn't say particularly humiliating, no.
Although I would never have given my permission for it to be published, and I don't know where you got those pictures from.
Well,
who sent them
as I say,
to you.
the picture is not your copyright.
Yeah. Anyway, what I was going to say is, and you will agree with me here, I nearly stuck my fingers down my throat and vomited.
What?
When I saw pictures.
What's wrong with you?
Pictures of our utterly beaten, failed, useless, hopeless rugby union team
attending a royal reception at Buckingham
Palace last night to celebrate the autumn of sport.
What?
I mean, don't they realise they've failed? There's pictures of them with the Queen.
Really?
Pictures of them.
Was our man Lancaster there as well?
Our man Lancaster was there. Our man Rob Shaw, the captain who stands tall, Captain Fantastic, Stonewall Jackson of the England attack or defence or wherever he chooses to play. All of a sudden, standing there next to the Queen, honestly, it was so shameful.
Yeah.
They should have just not gone.
They should have just not gone. I was amazed, actually, on Saturday.
Yeah.
I put out a tweet, because I was slightly late coming to the England-Uruguay game, right?
Right.
And I wasn't sure I wanted to watch the whole thing anyway. I put out a tweet, because I switched it on, and there was a Uruguayan kicker about to convert a penalty to go 3-0 up on England.
Unbelievable.
And I sent out a tweet going, another triumph for Stuart Lancaster.
Yes.
They're already 3-0 down to Uruguay.
Yeah.
The amount of abuse I got from people saying, the game's only just started. I was like, that's not the point.
Yeah.
You know, this is a team that haven't beaten anyone in the entire tournament. Of course they're not going to win, but the fact that Stuart Lancaster has given his team talk, said to these guys, look, the one thing you want to make sure you go out and do is not concede any points before you score any.
Exactly.
And then suddenly they're 3-0 down.
I know.
Incredible.
They win 60-3 or something, 60-3.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Something like
that, yeah.
By the way, talking about rugby of a different code, I see my team, Leeds Rhinos.
Your team?
So, yes.
Why are the Leeds Rhinos your team?
Well, they play in the same colours as Everton, blue and white.
Blue and white?
Yes.
So the Rangers, are they your team too?
No. I've got... everybody knows who my football team is, but of course I have a rugby league team.
Well, there's plenty of football teams that play in blue and white.
Yeah.
There's plenty of other, teams in other sports that play in blue and white.
Yes, I know that. Yeah, but I mean, it's just something I mentioned in passing. Now, what I need to talk to...
they play in blue and yellow, actually.
What?
Blue and yellow.
Yeah, well, it is blue and yellow.
So it's not blue and white then? Can you name the captain of the Leeds Rhinos?
Leeds Rhinos captain?
Yeah. I can only take a picture of the expression on your face. I can see that you don't know the answer to a question.
What are you laughing at?
Because I can see the expression on your face. What am I going to say now?
Yeah.
My team captain. I have no idea.
It's Dave.
It's not Dave.
It is Dave.
No, it isn't.
Anyway, that's irrelevant. What I was going to talk to you about
was... So much for the rugby league chat.
I was going to talk to you about... Chris Coleman, OK?
Chris
Coleman's had a fantastic couple of days. He said it's the best of his career for what he's achieved and all that. And what I'd like to see is the emotive expression in Roy Hodgson's face that you see in Chris Coleman's, because his face really is... It's readable.
Yeah.
He has facial expressions. He uses all the muscles in his face to emphasise the points he's making.
He's very much more animated, isn't he?
His eyes are blazing and alight and alive.
Yeah.
His lips are like Mick Jagger's lips, and he uses them to great effect to enunciate his words so that you know exactly what he feels passionate about. And he is a great communicator, a really good communicator. I'll tell you what, that boy ever gives up football... Bring him in this studio. He might have a future behind a microphone.
Well, he might well do, but maybe he might have a future as the next England manager if he does well with Wales. What would be wrong with that? Yeah.
Well, he'd never go and do that.
Why not?
Because Wales, he is very much a Welsh boy.
Yeah.
And Wales is in his heart.
Yeah, but I mean, we've had an Italian manager.
And you've got to remember...
a Swedish manager.
He's also doing it, really, in the wake of his very good friend Gary Speed's tragic death.
Of course.
And,
he said
that it's a mission.
Did he say that he was carrying on a journey that Gary Speed had begun, which is in some ways true?
Well, what is more interesting than that, I think, Mike, is that when I heard him talking, before or after, I can't remember now, the classic game which they qualified, even though they lost,
Well, Gareth Bale said it's the greatest game he's ever lost, didn't
yes,
it?
That's
which was another great quote.
Yeah, it was, yeah. But he said that in respect to Gareth Speed... in respect to Gary Speed, he kept on doing what Gary Speed had been doing for his first 3 games in charge of Wales.
Yeah.
And then he realised he couldn't make that system work.
Yeah.
So he had to abandon it, much to his chagrin, because he wanted the legacy of Gary Speed to carry on. But the minute he started doing it his own way, he started winning.
Yeah.
He's been winning ever since.
Yeah.
So I think
Wales are now, of course, ahead of England in the rankings. I wouldn't be at all surprised if Wales go further in the tournament than England.
They might do. They've got great team spirit,
and they will be more exciting to watch.
Much, yeah.
They'll be more exciting to watch.
By the way, have you been reading talking about team spirit and all this, and talking about teams bonding? So Wales often get together in the pub, the lads, and have a drink and all that. That's team spirit.
Yeah.
Do you know what the rugby team's been doing?
What, the Welsh rugby team?
The English rugby team. The English rugby team.
What they've been doing?
They've been going on these real, and this is typical, I think, of what's happened to English rugby. It's been taken over by the loonies in the loony bin.
Yeah.
And they've taken some of their coaches down to a horse sanctuary and made them lead horses around a field to see how much control they can exercise on the horse.
Really?
Yeah, how their mind game with the horse makes them a superior person.
Why don't they try leading some of the players around the field?
I don't know.
See what they can do with them.
They've honestly been doing that. And other weird things. They've been taking them to...
Have they got some kind of, sort of motivational guru working with them?
Well, it's something like that, because they did this and said to them, right, lead this horse around the field. You've got to dominate the horse. Your personality has got to come through. So you're not dealing with rugby players now, you're dealing with a horse, you know. Excuse me. Yeah. And then the other one they did is they sent them somewhere to a place where it's a purpose-made sort of small dwelling town, and it's used by police forces to train their men.
It's not where the M96 is.
No, it's not where the M96 is. And it's the M69, actually.
No, it's the M96.
M96, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
And
that's the pretend motorway.
And it's where
the M69 is where the triangle is.
That's right, it is, yeah. It's where the police send their men to train in anti-riot policing.
All right.
So what all these rugby players were doing was putting on all these...
gear.
The right gear, and then having bricks thrown at them.
Really?
Yeah, I mean...
I don't know if you watched that Sir Alex Ferguson documentary last night, did you?
No, I didn't know.
Because that was brilliant, right?
Yeah, what was that about?
It was about Sir Alex Ferguson.
Well, obviously, but I mean, why? Why?
What do you mean, why?
Well, why now?
Well, it was a thing that was done by Nick Robinson, the former BBC political correspondent, who it turns out is a massive Man United fan.
Right, yeah.
And he'd obviously suggested it to the BBC that this guy is worth doing a documentary on, not from the point of view of football necessarily.
When was that on? Last night?
It was on last night. What were you, in some kind of state of bladderation?
Why did I know about that?
Why didn't you watch it?
I don't know, to be honest, but I mean...
It was on after the news.
What time was the news?
Usually around about 10.
Okay. Now, does that mean I can pick it up on the old...
on the iPlayer, yes.
iPlayer?
Yeah, well, it was on the BBC, so it will be on the iPlayer.
iPlayer, right. Which one was the Rooney one on?
Also the BBC.
So that's on iPlayer?
You've not seen that either?
I've got it on Sky Box Plus or
Have
whatever.
You?
Yeah. So I'll have a look at that. Yeah.
Sky Plus?
Yes, Sky Plus, yeah. So don't even worry about it, okay?
Okay.
Now...
Well, anyway, what do you mean now? I haven't finished telling you the story yet.
Okay.
I just want to move on.
Okay.
Right?
Well, please do.
Apparently, Sir Alex Ferguson took Manchester United to the SAS training camp.
Oh, did he?
Right. And Ryan Giggs was being interviewed for the piece. They talked to Rio Ferdinand. They talked to Ronaldo, who the first time I've really heard him speaking in the way that he was speaking about Sir Alex Ferguson.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
But Ryan Giggs was telling the story of how they went into the SAS sort of training group.
Yes.
And took them into this room, and there was cardboard cutouts of sort of, what looked like hostages.
Yes.
And they had Paul Ince and somebody else, I think it might have been Ryan Giggs, sitting down at a table.
Right.
And he said suddenly all the lights went out. And these guys came running in shouting and firing guns.
Yeah.
And when the lights came back up again, all the hostages guys had been shot dead.
Yes.
And one of the guys had a gun to Paul Ince's head.
Right. It's not very pleasant.
No. And Alex Ferguson was killing himself laughing, so you should have seen the look on his face. I mean, this guy literally thought he was about to die.
Well, what was the purpose of that?
Well, it was just something that he decided to do to kind of, keep them on their toes, I guess.
Well, I suppose so, yeah.
But it was a fantastic documentary. It was all about how... And he was at London Business School as well, telling various people like bankers and heads of companies exactly how to run, a multi-million-pound business like Manchester United. It's fascinating. I can't believe you haven't seen it.
No.
Shocking dereliction of duty.
Well, I'll have a look at it.
What were you doing instead? About 10 o'clock last night.
Oh, I don't know, preparing for today's show, I would think, yeah. But what I was going to say was, I don't get this motivational speaking thing. I see, funny enough, all the time, you see former footballers and all that, what are they doing today? Oh, motivational after dinner speaker.
Right.
How can you motivate?
Well, if you're Sir Alex Ferguson, yes, you can.
Well, yes, but I don't understand how even Sir Alex Ferguson, who was the best at what he did in the whole of the world, virtually, can translate the skills he has in football management into telling bankers how to succeed.
Well, if you watched the show, you would get it. Because what this one guy said, who was the head of a big banking organisation, he said the lessons that you learn running big egos with lots and lots of money involved, a results business, he said it's not that different from politics. It's not that different from running a major multinational corporation.
Is that right?
So there you go. It shows what you don't know about it.
Well,
I mean, Tony Blair asked him for advice about Gordon Brown.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that was just a sop to Sir Alex Ferguson.
No, was it?
Of course it was. He gave him a knighthood, didn't he, for winning the Champions League, and he just wants to be popular. That's why they gave Sir Geoff Hurst a knighthood. Popularity with the people. Geoff Hurst certainly deserved it, and he is now quite rightly Sir Geoff Hurst, but, it just came out of the blue one day. Oh, what can we do to be popular? I don't know. Make Geoff Hurst a Knight of the Realm. Very well deserved, Geoff, but it should have gone, as Sir Jeff has actually said to every other one of the 1966 World Cup winning team.
Yeah, who are still waiting for one.
Well, Alan Ball's dead, so he won't get it now, but... I don't... That's not funny. Alan Ball being dead is not funny.
No, I didn't say it was funny.
Charles Ramsey got one.
You've seen the time. Look at the time.
Bobby Moore didn't even get one. He's dead as well.
Just shut up before you get into more trouble.
On digital radio and 1089 and 1053 AM.
The Two Mics on Talk Sport.
And as the rest of Fleet Street arrived and were pouring up the drive of this hotel, they saw me being wrestled out of the hotel with my hands handcuffed behind my back, getting beaten up by the Italian police, thrown in the back of a police wagon very brutally, and taken off to jail.
Good morning, I'm Mike Graham, he's Mike Parry. You're listening to the Two Mics, and we're keeping you entertained throughout the night. It was a massive night for England, cementing their qualification for the Euro finals with 10 wins out of 10. It's a magnificent feeling, isn't it? No? No, it's not really, is it? Here's one of the goals.
Here's Kane. 2-0. Lovely 1-2 between Kane. I think it was Lallana inside the penalty area. He came back for Kane on his left foot, and he arrowed a drive inside the near post past Arlauskis. And England lead by 2-0 what's been a night that's been comfortable in the extreme as they head for the perfect 10 out of 10.
Perfect 10 out of 10, but as Ray the Trucker has just texted in, watching England in the qualifiers is like a microwave meal. It does the job, it's just not very enjoyable. I know exactly what you mean. 08717 22 3344. Stephen Caldwell's ringing in a bit later on this hour. We'll find out what he makes of Peter Reid returning possibly to Sunderland, and Sam Allardyce, of course, and his new book. You're listening to the Two Mics with me, Mike Graham, and Mike Parry on Talk Sport. This is Talk Sport. I'm Mike Graham. Mike Parry is here, of course. There'll be winners and losers coming up a little bit later on. It's still 7-0 to San Diego in the big game over in California.
Oh, my God.
We'll keep you updated on that, of course, throughout the course of the night.
I can't bear the tension in that one.
Now, I can't believe you have not mentioned yet that Phil Jagielka was the captain of England last night.
First Everton player ever to captain England. Now,
I saw you blundering about on Twitter earlier, making out that a load of other Everton players had captained England.
I thought Alan Ball had, and
wrong.
of course, Alan Ball did become England captain in
not when he was playing for Everton.
No, he didn't become England captain until 1975, and he left Everton in 1972.
Yes.
And went to Arsenal. And the other one I thought was Dixie Dean. Dixie Dean scored 18 goals in 16 England appearances, the greatest percentage-wise goal record for any England striker ever.
Right.
But I thought he had been captain of the team. He's certainly captain of Everton. And so, but anyway, the experts told me that wasn't the case. This story, this poor old guy, 74. How many lashes has he got?
200. Well, depending on which paper you read, 250 or 270.
Yeah, well,
I mean, it's not a funny story.
No,
but the idea
harsh,
that there is a country in this world where they think lashing somebody that many times.
350 lashes, according to this report.
350?
Yeah.
Well, it's from 270 up to 350.
Yeah, sickly 74-year-old British grandad facing 350 lashes and a public flogging in Saudi Arabia. But you know why?
But
when they stopped his car, they found a bottle of homemade wine in it. I thought if you're Western, you could drink in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, but I think, I don't know about that, but I know that, for example, when I was in Dubai, there was a place called Sharjah where a lot of English expats lived who were involved in like the oil business and all that kind of thing.
Sure.
And they had places where they could go to buy the alcohol.
Yes.
And you could only buy the alcohol if you had a special permit, i.e. that you were foreign.
Yeah.
But then you had to drink it, I think, in your own house. And then they had a couple of sort of social clubs. There'll be people listening in Dubai who could probably tell me the answer to this.
Well, no.
They had social clubs where you could go, but you couldn't. I don't think you could just wander about willy-nilly with a drink.
No. In Dubai, almost every hotel has got a cocktail bar. And,
yes. Well, I stayed in one.
Yeah, that's right. And when I was there...
When I say I stayed in one, I don't mean I stayed in the cocktail bar.
Oh, no, I was there with... I think I was there with Andy Townsend, actually, because we went to this Irish bar and Andy was feted as a hero because, of course, he used to be captain of Ireland, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the flip side of the coin to that is... If you then stagger out onto the seafront in Dubai City or something like that, and then start indulging in sort of semi-Rogerisation type behaviour, you know what I mean?
Semi-Rogerisation?
Yeah. Well, get on the beach and start squirming around with a lady or something like that.
Yeah, you get locked up for that as well.
Oh, you do? Yeah. So you've got to be very careful.
Because there was that couple, famously, who were locked up for having some jiggery pokery on the beach. There was another couple.
That's right.
Who were in the back of a cab.
That's right.
Yeah.
And said to be fondling each other.
Well, the reason I went out there, right, was the story. You might remember this story. It was back in... It was the last job I did as a reporter, actually, for the Express. I think it was 1994.
Right.
And it was a couple who were not married to each other, who had embarked upon an affair, which wasn't actually being conducted in public, if you like.
Right.
It was being conducted in the privacy of their own home.
Right.
And because they were committing adultery, they were both arrested and locked up.
Really?
Yeah.
How did they? So how was it found out? Someone just reported them or something?
I think one of the injured parties was involved in reporting it. Like either the husband of the wife who was cavorting, or the wife of the husband who was cavorting. And the police turned up, and they were locked up in these horrendous jails, right, where it was about 140 degrees Fahrenheit.
God,
it was like something from Midnight Express, only worse.
Yeah, they're like 12 people to a cell designed for two.
And we were standing outside this jail waiting to get in to see the guy. Which was on the outskirts of Dubai.
Yes,
all wearing suits like you do,
Yeah, and in that heat.
Yeah, and it was literally 135 in the shade.
Good God. Yeah. And what happened when you got inside?
Well, it was even hotter.
Yeah, well, I imagine it was hotter, but did you see this guy?
Yeah, we saw him, yeah.
And what sort of condition was he in?
He was in a pretty bad way. And basically our function was there was one of these guys that was acting as like a fixer on the story, one of their mates.
Yeah, I know,
because they thought they could make some money out of it as well, right? And, of course, one of the papers wanted to buy them up. And we all said, look, that's a very bad idea. If you let one paper buy you up, then all the other papers will absolutely destroy you.
And just abandon you.
Well, not just abandon you, but they will start digging into your past.
Exactly.
And there'll be all sorts of stuff appearing that you don't want to appear.
Yeah.
So in the end, we all did a deal that we would all give them some money and everybody would share the story.
Yeah.
It's very democratic.
Yeah, but the point is that if you're in a country where, leg-overism outside of... outside of your established marriage is against the law, then you shouldn't
get outside of the house or something.
Yeah, then you shouldn't indulge in it.
Yeah, but the trouble is, people get drunk, don't they?
Well,
and then they become.
if they
the situation on the beach we were talking about, in the back of the car, there was clearly a lot of drink had been taken.
Yeah,
and so people's inhibitions are suddenly lost.
Yeah, well,
you're a fine one for saying that. It's all very well to stick within the law.
Yes.
What about what happened to you in Italy that time?
Well, I didn't do anything wrong. I was
you were led away by the cops.
Yeah, I was led away by the cops because a woman accused me of pestering her. No, seriously.
Well, you're telling me that's not true?
Well, it was sort of true because what I was doing was she was allegedly having some sort of intimate relationship with allegedly a member of the England squad
right,
who were out there.
At least one.
At
was
least
it not more than one?
It was about 4, apparently.
Yeah, right.
And all I did was go and, say hello to her in a very friendly sort of way and then ask her about her friendship with England footballers. She ran off and got the manager of the hotel, who called the Carabinieri, who turned up in numbers, arrested me and took me away in a Black Maria. Yeah. It was an absolute disgrace.
Did they then not put the old lights on you and start quizzing you in Italian to try and find out what you've been up to?
There was a bit of that, but I wasn't badly treated or anything like that. But I had my passport taken. I was impounded in Sardinia and couldn't get out until the Foreign Secretary of the Her Majesty's government had to be alerted by our editor, Sir Nicholas Lloyd.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a disgrace.
So you had to be rescued.
And by the way, I was only on holiday. I didn't even go there to work. I just went there to watch the football.
But that's what I mean. Should you not have listened to your own mantra, which is when you're going to a foreign country where things are slightly different, because they probably are slightly different in Sardinia as they would be here, that you can't go throwing your weight around.
I wasn't throwing my weight around.
No,
I was making a perfectly normal inquiry.
No, but you would have been like a pushy journalist.
It was like a busman's holiday. I was supposed to be on holiday, but I couldn't resist
getting involved. So you went on holiday where all the press were?
Yeah, I did, because that's where the World Cup was being played. And I went to see the 3 England games. I had tickets to them. Listen,
did you see all of them?
Yes, I did, yeah.
Did you?
I did, yeah. I did, yeah. Managed to see them all, yeah. Now, this is great, because I've just come across a story on my information device.
Oh, yeah.
So these people go to Chester Zoo, right?
Which people?
Well, some people, I don't know which people, and they go there and they take the kids and all that, and they leave their car in the Chester Zoo car park.
Yeah.
And when they get back, there's a note on the windscreen. Now, you were going on about me leaving notes on your windscreen, which, of course, I plead innocent to, because there is absolutely no evidence. Young Sandy grassed me up.
Sandy said that she saw you loitering around the car at the exact same time.
Well,
in addition to which,
hang on.
In addition to which, the handwriting is clearly yours.
No, it's not.
I've got a previous
note
that you left on the car,
in
which you called me a cheating, gerrymandering something or other.
Yeah.
Which was exactly the same handwriting.
Well, I don't agree with this.
So, what you're saying? There's 2 people who have come back with exactly the same same handwriting.
No, I'm not saying that at all. It's just that your assumption is way off.
No,
But
I'll tell you what,
anyway.
why don't we hear what Sandy Waugh has to say about this?
I certainly saw a certain gentleman standing there, lingering,
right,
on the
loitering,
loitering on the front driver's wing,
yes,
at that side,
yeah,
looking,
furtive.
Yes, that might be the word.
Mm.
I can't say I witnessed exactly what he was doing, but I certainly saw that he was there.
So he was lingering in a place where he shouldn't really have been. That's good enough for me.
Okay,
I think it's guilty as charged. There you go.
How can that be evidence? I mean, that's just observation. And by the way,
well, do you deny that you were loitering around my car?
Well, your car is parked in the same street where my car was parked.
Well, why are you standing next to my car?
Because
I
was
don't stand next to your car.
I was on my way to my car. That's
why
why.
you stopped then?
What?
Why had you stopped?
I'd forgotten something
and
really? Turned round.
And what had you forgotten?
I'd forgotten my headphones.
Liar.
I'm telling you, how dare you call me a liar?
You will say anything to wriggle out of the responsibility.
Listen, this is great about a note. So they come back to their car, and there's this note on their car, and it says, "Hi, we noticed that your your rear. We noticed that your rear passenger side tyre was low on air. Maybe you have a slow puncture. So we have blown it up to 30 psi."
Why would you do that?
I don't know. At 3:45, and hope it gets you home. Best wishes, car park team, Chester Zoo.
So the car park team. Well, that's all right then.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
Well, that's great. I think that's. I thought you were going to tell me it was from some, anonymous good Samaritan.
Nutter. No.
No, I think if they've done that, then that's great.
Really? Yeah. Okay.
Don't you? You don't like the sound of it?
Well, I'm always very, very sceptical about people who suddenly get involved in your affairs for no reason and all that kind of stuff.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll
I mean?
talk about this in a moment because we're currently running slightly late. So look into the light and I'll tell you something that could have gone horribly wrong with that sort of scenario.
Okay,
but, we'll
good
get to
idea.
that. Coming up next on TalkSport.
We took the all-new Mitsubishi L200 Series 5 across the globe for 18 days and 4,267 miles. We conquered the Sahara Desert and the Atlas Mountains to show the world the most manoeuvrable, economic, efficient, safest and capable pickup we've ever made. The Mitsubishi L200 Series 5, showing the world how it's done. Search Mitsubishi L200 and test the best.
Your car's engine was designed by experts in a sterile environment, using the latest technology to the highest possible standards. Clean, powerful. Every single aspect designed to perform at its best. So why would you choose a fuel that wasn't designed to the same standards? Give your car's engine the fuel it deserves. Choose Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Performance Fuels. Actual benefits may vary. See shell.co.uk/vpower.
The new Michelin Cross Climate is the first Michelin tyre of its type to combine summer and winter technologies, so you can arm yourself for every weather condition. And if you buy 4 from ATS Euromaster before the end of October, you'll receive a Berghaus jacket. Buy today at atseuromaster.co.uk. ATS. You're in good hands. Subject to availability. Conditions apply.
As the temperature begins to drop, there's still something to smile about at Wickes with our cosy autumn offers. Save up to 30% on all universal radiators, now from as little as $14.99. Get our GU10 LED light bulbs for just $1.99 each when you buy a pack of 20. And Knauf loft insulation rolls are now 2 for £30, mix and match. Wickes. Let's do it right.
This is the unique go-kart feeling of a turbocharged Mini Cooper 3-door hatch. And this is how it feels knowing that you got it for just £189 a month, plus initial rental. Book a test drive at your nearest mini centre or mini.co.uk/turbo. 48-month hire agreement from Mini Financial Services, £2,399 initial rental. Subject to status, guarantees may be required. Available for new vehicles ordered by 31st of December and registered by 31st of March. Participating retailers only. Mileage and other conditions apply when you return the vehicle. Visit mini.co.uk/turbo.
Whether they're first past the post at Cheltenham or in off the post at the Berlin ground, whether they're scrumming down at Twickenham or throwing arrows at the O2, whether they're teeing off at Augusta or stopping for tea at Old Trafford, get closer to the action with all the latest form and odds from Betway's betting expert every weekend on the Weekend Sports Breakfast. Saturday and Sunday mornings from 7 on Talk Sport with Betway. Get closer to the action with Betway.
Talk Sport. We are the two mites. Winners and losers coming up a little bit later on, of course. That's a good lyric.
Yeah.
Bottle of wine on a train. That's a familiar situation for you, isn't it?
Is that what he said?
Well, you didn't listen to the words?
Actually, I was distracted.
Why were you distracted? What were you distracted by?
It was good. It's good. Listen, I'll tell you what it's all about.
Yeah, go on.
People are now they're creating this sort of ceremony in the last day at work of the week.
Right.
They get on the train home, so it's usually Friday evenings, and they're getting the wine down their throat in massive quantities now.
Well, that's,
absolutely massive.
and sadly, that is pretty much the way anything is celebrated in this country, isn't it?
It is, yeah. But
whether it's the end of the working week, start of the working week, Wednesday,
but it's not just
football match, rugby match.
But it's not just those travelling in first class, where of course it's nice and civilised and. Well, no, people in standard class are now doing it as well.
Oh,
but they're sitting there with.
That's shocking.
No, they're sitting there with a glass of wine on their knee, not on a table, and all this kind of stuff.
You can go to some places at well-known retail establishments, if you like, where you can buy a glass of wine.
Yes, you can,
which is covered.
Yes, that's right. But have you ever tried to open it on a train?
No, I've never ever bought one.
Spills all over your trousers.
Well, I've never bought one.
Yeah, well, I have. Yeah,
I am actually capable of travelling on a train without drinking.
Yeah. But anyway,
which you're not.
Listen to this. For many hard-working professionals, this is a research document, right, done by a consumer magazine.
Oh, yeah.
Reaching for a glass of wine's the first thing they do after arriving at home on a Friday night, and always has been.
Yeah.
But increasingly, it seems some are now not prepared to wait that long. A big growing number of train passengers are rounding off their working week with a glass of their favourite Sauvignon Blanc or Merlot.
Sauvignon Blanc.
Yeah, Blanc, yeah. And posting pictures on social media to greet their friends with a pose which says cheers, raise a glass and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Now, according to supermarkets and rail operators, sales of wine on trains, i.e. locations in and around train stations, has risen by 15% in the last year alone.
Because you're not talking about buying them on the train, are you? You're not talking about like
no,
the
you're
trolley.
talking about taking it on the train.
Because the train I used to take down to Hastings, they did away with the trolley because they said they couldn't afford to run it anymore. Right. Then the guys themselves decided to start up their own trolley service, and that somehow didn't work.
Sorry, which guys?
The conductors, the ticket collectors.
Oh, really? What?
Yeah.
They took the initiative to buy a trolley and start...
Well, I don't know how they did it.
Right, okay.
But they basically said, look, the trolleys have been out of order.
How long
now
was this journey down to Hastings?
About an hour and a half.
Hour and a half, yeah, okay. It's time for a couple of drinks, yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, a couple, yeah. I mean, you'd do a couple of bottles in by then.
Exactly,
but,
yeah.
I mean, the railway company decided that they couldn't afford to man it anymore.
Right, yeah.
So these guys said, well, hang on, we'll man it then.
Yes.
So I don't know what the arrangement was, but that didn't last very long either.
Yeah.
But you see plenty of people getting on with a little bottle of wine.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Now, according to supermarkets and rail operators, 15% it's gone up, right. Now, Great Western Railway, so that goes out to Bristol direction, doesn't it? And Swindon and places like that.
Yeah.
Sales of small and full bottles of wine have jumped from 59,000 to 68,000. And on Virgin trains, more than 73,000 glasses of white, red and rosé wine are drunk in first class.
Yeah.
That's what I was pointing out.
But that's when it's free, presumably.
No. You take it on. You take it on yourself.
Oh, right.
Take it on yourself, seriously, yeah.
But, I mean, if you're travelling first class during the week, the drinks are free.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they are. Well, if you're on a main line, I mean, you have to...
Where did I go? Did I go to Newcastle?
You have to buy a ticket. Yeah, I mean, if you bought a ticket... No, if you went at the weekend, though, no.
No, they're not.
They change it at the weekend because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
But when you pay full fare first class, you get all the drinks for nothing.
Yeah, and it says here, over the past 12 months, Marks and Spencer's has seen a 12% rise in sales of single bottles and pre-packaged glasses of wine.
The glasses
That's the
of
one
wine,
you're talking about.
That's what
but they're made of plastic, aren't they?
I was amazed to see...
Glasses?
Yeah, I was amazed.
No, I've seen them.
I used to see them at London Bridge.
Yeah.
And I was with my daughter actually one time. She said, that's an amazing invention.
Yeah.
She'd never thought of it.
Yeah, but the thing is, Mike, they are covered, as you quite rightly say, in cellophane or something like that.
It's like cling film, isn't it?
It's like cling film. But when you try to peel it off, it's like, when you get like a meal for one type thing?
No.
And you try to
I've
peel...
never had one of those.
You try to peel the plastic off the top.
A meal for one?
Yeah,
Well, like what?
TV dinner or something, is it called?
Well, is that what you eat now?
No, but I've seen them in the past.
Oh, you've seen them in the past?
In the past. You get like a cottage pie, and it's got a cling film thing over the top, and you pull it off, and it shreds and all that.
You've got to be careful if it's hot as well, haven't you? Because you burn yourself on the steam.
No, you idiot, because you take it off before you put it in the oven, you stupid fool.
Yeah, no, you're supposed to pierce it. You're not supposed to take it off.
Well, no, it depends what you're cooking. Mostly you take it off.
Well, I'll take your expertise over mine on meals
for one.
Anyway,
let me just continue this.
Please.
And when the train's rocking all this, you try to take something off, it goes all over the place. Believe me, it really does.
Imagine.
Now, I'll tell you about another thing on a train, which is...
All right. Well, I was going to say, we hadn't finished the last conversation about the Chester Zoo scenario.
Oh,
what I was going to say was, imagine if they had been driving home, that night.
Yeah.
And they'd had a blowout
Yes.
in that particular tyre.
That's right.
As a result of it being overinflated.
That's right.
What would happen then?
Well, you're absolutely right. And even if it hadn't been overinflated, imagine if that tyre blew out because there was an inherent problem in it, and that's why it had gone down. They could then turn round and say to the zoo, well, your workers interfered with the tyre.
Exactly.
We're holding you responsible.
I'm amazed. I mean, in many ways, I'm glad they did it because that sort of thing doesn't happen in this day and age. But I'm astonished that they're allowed to do it because with the way health and safety is these days, you're not meant to interfere with anything.
That's right.
I mean, we hear stories about, police officers and fire officers not jumping into a pond to save someone
Quite
because
right.
they haven't got the licence to do it.
They did that in Gosport, near me. It's absolutely disgraceful.
Yeah.
It was about 2.5 feet of water. It was a swan's pond.
Oh, yeah.
Although you call it a duck pond, it was mostly swans.
Yeah, yeah.
And a chap who was who had some inherent condition was kneeling next to the water, throwing bread into the water, and he literally had a seizure. Keeled over forwards and went into the pond. Head first, and it's an absolute scandal. They
wouldn't help him.
The firemen or the policemen wouldn't go in. They said it hadn't been water trained. It was an absolute disgrace, and there's still an inquiry going on about it. But anyway, look, getting back to trains, right? So when I was coming in for the Clash of the Titans yesterday, that's the show that you weren't on.
That don't involve the Clash of the Titans.
Well, I have to just
it's
keep
unbelievable.
Have to keep our listeners up to date.
Publicity machine.
Sags does a good job on that one.
I
think we'll be doing it again next Sunday. I think it's now become so successful that I think we're doing it again
funnily
next
enough,
Sunday.
You say that because I saw a tweet here from somebody a little bit earlier.
Oh, yes.
VHP over in Australia.
Yes.
Dear MG, that snake Porky was slagging you off so much on Sunday and did call you an oath. I recorded the show, by the way.
Oh, really?
#, sack him.
Oh, I don't think so.
Well, you recorded the show.
I think I went, oof, at one point, sort of as an explanation or something like that.
I see, yeah.
But anyway, what I was going to say about these trains, right?
Yeah.
So there I'm sitting there in a fairly deserted carriage because it's Sunday at kind of 11:30.
Yeah.
Because the show starts at 1 o'clock, and...
You're leaving plenty of time then.
Well, I needed a quick lubrication of the throat just to get me in the mood, for the show.
What, on the train?
No, at Waterloo Station.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Okay.
So anyway, so I hear the door click, the door that joins the carriages together.
The connecting door.
Connecting door, that's the one. And I'm sitting very close to it. And then this figure's looming over me. And then somebody puts a packet of tissues on my table with a pre-printed note on the top.
Oh, yeah.
And it says, I am homeless and unemployed. Seriously.
He didn't choose his victim very well, did he?
I'm homeless and unemployed. You can help me with my life if you would like to pay some money for these tissues. He didn't say anything.
Yeah.
He just put it on my table, and then he walked off. And I thought, you filthy piece of vermin. What are you, how dare you invade my private space like that?
You didn't think you could just ignore it?
Well, I tell you what I did. My first instinct was to pick it up and throw it in a bin as a health hazard, because I don't know how many germs are on that packet of tissues.
Was it like one of those handy-andy?
Yeah, like a handy-andy thing. You're absolutely right.
Was it even full, or did you take a couple out?
No, it was full and unopened.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much his filthy hands had molested this packet of tissues and left germs on it, which had now been transported onto my table. I didn't know whether to pick it up, throw it in the bin, but then I didn't really want to handle it.
Right.
So I very delicately picked it up.
Was he standing there at the time?
No, he'd walked off.
Yeah.
He'd walked off up the train. They do a circuit of a couple of carriages and then come back. So
Not like those guys on the subway. You probably never went to the subway in New York, did you?
Yeah, did you?
Yeah, did you ever see those guys? The ones with no legs, and they would sit on
a
board with wheels,
indeed,
and propel themselves by their knuckles,
like something out of a movie.
Yeah,
it's terrible. Yeah, shocking.
Did you ever give them any money?
No, never. Anyway, so I picked it up very gingerly and I put it on the table across the aisle from me.
Yeah.
I thought, this filth on my table.
Yeah.
The guy comes back and...
was he young, old?
Young. He was young. He was, I'd say, in his mid-20s.
Yeah.
And he then picks it up, puts it back in his bag and walks off. If he's got the time and the effort to walk up and down trains, leaving little packets of filthy tissues around, then you've got time and effort, mate, to respond to the adverts I see in every licensed establishment in this country, bar staff required.
True.
Bartenders needed.
Yeah.
Chefs and cooks want. We must have full employment, because if we've got immigrants pouring into this country and they're taking jobs, well, we're not keeping pace. We're not keeping pace with the expansion of the economy, because I see jobs advertised everywhere. In a village near to me,
well, maybe he's just
there's a barber shop.
Maybe he's just trying to be an entrepreneur.
Well, he's not. He's trying to be a bum, trying to be a scrounger, he's trying to be, a con person, and that really irritates me.
I can see that.
I just don't understand it. Get yourself a blinking job. There's plenty of jobs going to McDonald's, I'd imagine. There's plenty of jobs. Oh, by the way, every bus in this country has got a sign on the back which says bus drivers required, phone this number.
Well, you could give out free tissues as well.
And that's painted on the back of the bus. The buses are permanently in need of drivers.
Yeah.
So, pack up your tissues, you lazy slobbo pezzo, and get yourself a job as a bus driver.
Yeah. That's the party political broadcast on behalf of the stark staring mad party.
What?
This is the two mics. This is TalkSport.
Promised you a miracle. Belief is a beauty thing.
This is TalkSport. We are the two mics. Winners and losers coming up in a little while. Stephen Caldwell is here. We're going to have a word with him in a moment about all things to do with the Scotland results over the weekend. And, of course, what's going on at Sunderland, too. A couple of tweets to read out to you, though.
Yes.
Adrian says this: I am English and I care about the NFL. I'm watching with the sound down and would appreciate Porky's insightful comments.
What on?
On the NFL.
Well, I'm sorry, but as a tiny percentage of our audience will have an interest in NFL games being played in America at the moment, whereas a vast majority of our audience have a great interest in listening to what we have to say, I think there is no point in giving them an update on the NFL.
OK, well, we'll see about that. Here's one from Becky who says, Porky's not interested in other NFL teams. Remember, let's get crackers for the Packers. That's true. You said you were a Packers fan, didn't you?
The Green Bays.
Green Bay Packers,
yeah, absolutely.
Not the Green Bays, that's snooker.
That's right. Now,
obviously.
Liz here, who's a regular correspondent, heard us talking about Dubai and clubs and all that. She actually lives there.
Does she?
So she says, I went to Zero Gravity, down market, so we went to the Cavalli Club and had a fab time. So that looks like the place to head for if you're in Dubai next time.
Why are you giving free plugs to bars in Dubai?
Well, why shouldn't I? Because this is a regular correspondent who's advising us where to go if you're there, OK?
All right, then. Let's talk to Stephen Caldwell, who's waiting very, very patiently. Indeed. Called in to us. Stephen, a very good morning to you.
Hi, guys. How are we doing?
Yeah, very well indeed, mate. Very well indeed.
Mate,
now, I don't know where to start, really. Scotland currently in a situation where lots of people are telling Gordon Strachan he should hang around. Great win over Gibraltar, but too little too late, I'm afraid. What do you reckon?
Yeah, it was a real shame. It was the September games that really cost us, away to Georgia and home to Germany. I think that Georgia game was pivotal. We had to win, and it's always a tough place to go. But to get to the major finals, you've got to go to 8 places and come away with 3 points. Unfortunately, we were pretty poor on the night, and we lost 1-0.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it was all too little, too late, as we said. But what's the feeling about Gordon Strachan from what you're hearing? Because there are some who say, it's going to be down to his family to decide whether he wants to hang around or whether he should hang around. Has he got any real hope of getting anywhere with this team?
Well, I'm absolutely hopeful that he's going to hang around. I think he's the best man for the job. We've had a really great campaign. Like I said, in my opinion, we only had 2 poor performances, one especially against the Georgians, and I felt we could have been a bit more attacking against Germany and went for it, but obviously that comes with its risks. And then on the Poland game, we were fantastic, got right back in the game, got in the lead, and didn't really look in any trouble, and unfortunately we conceded a poor goal for a set play right at death, and it's typical Scotland, we get so close and then we let ourselves down at the last minute, but we've got something decent going this time, and Gordon's a man to drive us forward and to take us there, in my opinion. I hope he stays around.
Now, I'll tell you what, Steve, it's going to be difficult for Gordon Strachan, and it's not necessarily his fault. I mean, obviously he didn't qualify, but the outstanding success of 2 of the other nations in the United Kingdom, that is Wales, of course, and Northern Ireland, under Chris Coleman and Michael O'Neill, is going to make Gordon's position much more difficult than it might normally have been because, fans are going to say, well, hang on, Wales have got even more limited resources than we have. They got through. Northern Ireland, more limited resources than we have. They've got through. Why didn't we? And that is going to be a bugbear for him.
Yeah, absolutely, and full credit to both teams. I was delighted for them to see him at a major championship, and Wales obviously have a couple of outstanding players and a real solid squad. Northern Ireland, a fantastic achievement. No disrespect to any of the players, but a bunch of decent players and great togetherness, great squad. But both teams were in easier groups than us. That has to be mentioned. We were in an extremely tough group. We had Poland and Germany, who are two major teams in Europe just now, with some outstanding talent. And then we have the Irish, who have been there, done it, and they have a good, solid squad and good experience getting to playoffs and to major finals in the last 10, 12 years. So we were up against it. We were close, but not close enough. And we are going to have to improve to eventually get there. And it always gets tougher when it's World Cups. You're talking about less places for European teams. So our work's cut out. But like I say, Gordon's the man, in my opinion. We have a decent squad together. We need to improve that a little bit, and hopefully we can unearth a young gem, a bit like a Gareth Bale or something like that, who can add that real spark for us and get us to over the hurdle.
But that is the biggest problem, isn't it, now? I mean, we were talking earlier about the failure of the English rugby side, the failure of Roy Hodgson's England team in Brazil. You know, when you have these kind of situations, and those were massive failures for both sides, let's not forget that. England have got to the to the finals of the Euros this time again, having won 10 games out of 10. There's no real celebration going on because everyone's expecting England to fail at the finals, because that's what they do in tournaments.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think England again had a softer group as well. But let's not take away that 10 wins out of 10 is fantastic achievement. I really think that the English people and press should be getting behind England and recognising what a great achievement that was. Yeah, they were in a softer group. There was no real outstanding teams in that group, but to win 10 out of 10 is great concentration and great commitment, and counts for nothing, gets you there, and it shows that you're in some kind of form. But now I think England are going to be judged on how far they can get in that tournament, and can they really push the big boys and get to a semi-final or a final and then indeed win it. That's the big question for them.
Yeah, I mean, have you got a theory, Steve, as to why Scotland don't send us any great players anymore? You know, when was the last time a Jim Baxter, a Kenny Dalglish, an Andy Gray came down from... Graham Souness, absolutely, came down from Scotland and made his mark in the English leagues. The closest thing you've got to it these days is Stephen Naismith, and, a fine player at Everton, but not even really a first choice at Everton until he scored that dramatic hat-trick.
Yeah, I think it's a little disappointing. We were always known as having, that flair player and that guy who was a little bit different through the years. And for some reason, we don't seem to be producing that anymore. Yeah, we've got great players and guys that work hard and that will score goals and play at the highest level in the English Premier League, but don't quite have that flair or that little bit of extra something that makes them world class, or we can talk about in the same breath as a Lewandowski or a Götze or these sort of guys, these big top players in Europe and competing for titles every single year. We have some solid guys, but we don't have that talent, and it's very difficult to put a finger on why. I feel like we're not producing it. It might be something in the fact that we changed the sort of system, and it's society is different. These kids are playing computers now, and they're doing different things. I think back in the day there was not a lot to do in Scotland. It was guys usually came from poor areas, and all they had was a football, and they were at the back garden or on the streets every single night kicking the ball against the wall, and we've lost that somehow. We need to try and get these kids into the right kind of academies and football education to make them practice more, and hopefully we can unearth a gem in the future.
Yeah, and let's just talk a little briefly about Sam Allardyce possibly wanting Peter Reid, his mate, to come and help him out at Sunderland. What do you make of that?
I think that's absolutely fantastic. I mean, Reid knows the football club. He's been there, done it as a manager, and he's very close to the area. And of course, his knowledge and passion for the North East is fantastic. I would like to see him come back with Sam, and I do think Sam is by far and away the best guy for the job. They could not have picked a better manager, in my opinion, in the situation they're in. He knows how to get it done. He'll be tough on at the right times, and he'll come up with a style that is winning football, that brings some points. And I'm excited to see Sam start his reign and see how far they can get up this table.
It'll certainly be fascinating to see him back in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Stephen, thank you very much indeed.
Yeah.
Stephen Caldwell there, former Sunderland player, of course, and former Scotland player as well. A couple of quick tweets for you, Mr. Parry, on the subject of your encounter on the train with the man that you didn't describe in terribly glowing terms.
Yes.
Julian says, sounds like a guy I've seen 4 times. I've not seen any others doing the tissue run, but I've seen people handing over money aplenty.
Oh, no, not me. William says he's quite right. Porky, I think you should carry a bottle of Dettol around with you at all times to cover all eventualities. You never know what you're going to come across. And he's absolutely right. I don't want these people dumping germs on my table and
maybe you shouldn't
filthy
travel on
packets
public
of
transport.
tissues and that kind of
Maybe
stuff.
you shouldn't travel on public transport.
I've got every right to travel on public transport. I pay for it.
Yeah, but if ordinary people offend you, then you shouldn't mix with them.
Well, those ordinary people should
sit in your
stay out of my
little ivory-towered Mercedes C-Class.
My private space. Anyway, it says here from James, God says we should always help the needy, Porky. Maybe you should have given him some money.
Yeah,
the only reason I'd give him money if I thought he was smelly and I wanted to get rid of him, and I'd have given him some and said, go and get a bath. Which sounds a bit harsh, but I mean, it's advice for people.
Well, Derek in Pincoid says this, Mike, so once again, the so-called man of the people and Christian is insulting someone who isn't as well off as he is a disgrace.
Well, that's too general a statement. The last one here. It might be an idea to have Porky drug tested for his OTT rant about a packet of tissues. But it wasn't. It was a packet of germ-infected tissues. For all I know, I could have caught something off them. I didn't want them anywhere near me.
Yes, fair enough. Here's Mike Porky Parry. I'm Mike Graham. Winners and losers coming up in the next hour. Lots more as well. This is Talk Sport.
The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast on Talk Sport with the new Ford Transit Courier. It's the breakfast show that doesn't compromise on delivering the biggest names from the world of sport.
Join me from 6 o'clock.
And cramming more into 4 hours every morning than you thought possible. The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast. Weekday mornings from 6 on Talk Sport with the new Ford Transit Courier. The new small van with an impressive 1.63 metre load length.
Do you hear that? An entire DFS workshop filled with craftspeople poised to hand-make any sofa you choose from the half-price new season collection. And that's the sound of another sofa, ready to be delivered to someone's home before... you know when. Half-price, 4 years interest-free credit and guaranteed Christmas delivery. DFS. 0% APR representative.
Prostate cancer kills one man every hour. Football to Amsterdam 2016 is a 2-day cycle challenge where you and your mates can raise cash to beat it. Join a select team of football celebrities in a once-in-a-lifetime pedal-powered pilgrimage to Amsterdam. Climaxing in an epic finish and truly unforgettable night out in Dam Square. Proost! Do something unforgettable. Help beat prostate cancer and make new friends for life on Football to Amsterdam 2016. Visit prostatecanceruk.org/Amsterdam now to find out more.
As the temperature begins to drop, there's still something to smile about at Wicks with our cosy autumn offers. Save up to 30% on all universal radiators, now from as little as $14.99. Get our GU10 LED light bulbs for just $1.99 each when you buy a pack of 20. And Knauf loft insulation rolls are now 2 for £30, mix and match. Wicks. Let's do it right.
The BMW i3. It's not just an electric car. It's an electric car that drives like a BMW. Rentals from £299 per month. Discover more at bmw.co.uk/i3. £3,699 initial rental, 36-month hire agreement from BMW Financial Services, subject to status and availability for new vehicles ordered before 31st of December 2015 and registered by 31st of March 2016. UK only, guarantees may be required. Mileage and other conditions apply when you return the vehicle.
The Form Zone on Talk Sport with Betfair. This is play. Listen to Talk Sport throughout the weekend for Betfair's experts' essential guide to all the latest form and odds as all the big teams face off. Everything you need to keep ahead of the game and make sure you know where the smart money is this weekend. Enter the Form Zone every weekend on Talk Sport with Betfair, where you can cash out in play on single or accumulator bets, so you can take your winnings before the end of the match. Selected markets, conditions apply.
Talk Sport. Upgrade your entertainment.
Have any of you ever considered buying a racehorse?
On DAB Digital Radio and 1089 and 1053 AM. Tested to thrill.
1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Is that better?
Talk Sport.
TalkSport's teamed up with Barclays to inspire the next generation of young fans and to champion the true spirit of the game. With our first games competition, each week we're offering young fans the unforgettable experience of attending their first match.
That's right. Now then, this week we have a pair of home tickets to Spurs versus Liverpool at White Hart Lane. That's a classic Premiership clash, that one, Mike.
It is.
And we're giving them away, a pair of tickets for that great game, Spurs versus Liverpool, White Hart Lane. So if you know a young Tottenham fan that you'd like to take along to their first game, simply answer this question, please. Last season, Spurs striker Harry Kane was the club's top goal scorer, but who was the top scorer for Tottenham the year before, in the 2013-2014 season? Was it A, Emmanuel Adebayor, or was it B, Gareth Bale?
Text the word Spurs, followed by A if you think it's Adebayor, or B if you think it was Gareth Bale. Send your answers to 81089, and as with all TalkSport competitions, text costs 50p and standard network charges apply. The competition closes 5 p.m. on Wednesday. Head to talksport.com for full terms and conditions, and please note these tickets are for home fans only.
That's right. We'd also like to get you on air this Saturday on the warm-up, and with Stan, that's Stan Collymore, of course, on Cole Collymore, to tell us all about the experience. So get texting right now to play first games on TalkSport with Barclays, championing the true spirit of the game.
You never guessed what the first game I ever went to was.
Go on.
Well, you're supposed to have a guess.
OK, Brentford.
No, it wasn't actually.
I thought they were your team.
No, they weren't my team. I was taken to Brentford because one of my relatives was playing there, and that was later on, much later on.
Right, now hang on.
The first game I was taken to...
Don't tell me. Hampstead is where you were born and brought up.
Yeah.
Nearest club, Arsenal. So it could have been Arsenal, or maybe Spurs, or maybe, I know, Camden Town.
Camden Town?
Yes.
What league are they in?
Well, I don't know, some league.
It's a tube station on the Northern Line.
No, Camden Town are a team in like the Isthmian League or something like that.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
Should we check that out?
Certain, yeah.
Well, it wasn't Camden Town.
Right, OK, who was it?
It wasn't Arsenal.
Yeah.
It wasn't Spurs.
Right.
It wasn't a team in London at all.
Brentford, no.
It was a team in Glasgow.
A team in Glasgow. Yeah, and which one?
Well, you can have another guess if you want.
Right, OK. Was it Hamilton Accies?
No, they're in Hamilton.
Yeah, well, that's near Glasgow.
Well, it's near Glasgow, it's not in Glasgow.
OK, all right, I know then. If it was in Glasgow and it wasn't Celtic or Rangers...
I didn't say that, but you can make that assumption.
It wasn't Celtic or Rangers, so in that case, I reckon it was Dumbarton.
That's not in Glasgow either.
Well, it's nearly in Glasgow.
It's in Dumbarton.
Yeah, well, there's a road in Glasgow called the Dumbarton Road, and it's at the other end of it.
Yeah, but it's quite a long way at the other end of it.
Oh, OK, right, OK.
You could have had... Partick.
Partick,
it wasn't Partick, that was Queen's Park.
Queen's Park, who played at the National Stadium.
They played at Hampden Park, yeah.
Hampden Park.
And they only used to open, because in those days it was the old Hampden where you could still stand, right?
Yeah, that's
and they only
right,
used to open the stand, which of course is where you could sit.
Yes.
Which I found very confusing as a child.
Yeah, so did I, yeah.
Because I'm like, why do they call the place where you stand... Not the stand, but the place where you sit, they call that the stand.
That's right. What do they call the standing area of the terrace and the sitting area of the stand?
And there couldn't have been more than... They played in black and white, and there couldn't have been more than about 100 people.
It was amazing.
At this game, inside Hampden, right?
Because...
I was about 6 or 7 years old.
Yeah.
And my dad convinced me that the club was so posh that they clapped with the backs of their hands. So we sat there and clapped.
What did he tell you that for?
I don't know.
Is he mad?
Well
he wasn't mad, obviously. We've had this discussion before.
He told
Your
me
father
that
was a crazy old fool.
They clapped with the That's very harsh.
Yeah.
Clapped with the backs of their hands.
I'm just trying to do that. Now, it hurts, actually.
Well, that's because you've got dodgy skin.
Stupid thing to do. No, you're absolutely right. And what you haven't told our audience is that in those days, when you were a child, Hampden Park, of course, was still mostly a standing arena, which could sometimes take up to 120,000 people.
Yes, it could.
120,000.
Yeah.
So can you imagine getting 100 people into a stadium where more usually it's full of 120,000?
Yeah.
The atmosphere playing a game in that sort of place must have been just dreadful. Must have been the
dreadful?
worst. Well, you know...
it was fantastic.
No, this huge, great stadium, and no...
Oh, you mean when it was empty?
Yeah, when Queen's Park
there was a bit of an
there,
echo going around,
It was
like watching a training game.
I know.
By the way, I found Camden Town Football Club.
Right, told you.
They've accepted promotion to London and South East Regional Women's Premier Division.
Oh, there you go.
So I'm not sure that
that's
they were
the
around.
women's team, is it?
It would appear to be, yeah.
That's their women's team, yeah. Well, I don't know about the rest. Now, I'm getting very angry because...
Why?
Well...
You're so angry all the time.
I'm opening tomorrow morning's papers. What's the thing I see on page 3 of this popularly, wildly sold newspaper? What did the Queen say to England's rugby flops? As patron of the Rugby Football Union, the Queen was... And there's a picture of the Queen with Rob Shaw looking not even embarrassed, you know. He looks very pleased to be in the Queen's company. And worse, Stuart Lancaster showing, you know, throwing this admiring glance at the monarch, the Queen. Where's his sense of shame? Where's his sense of betrayal to the country, to the Queen, to all that we stand for in this country? It's outrageous.
There's an interesting picture on the front of the Telegraph where the headline says, "Sorry, England, this is as close as you get," because there's a picture of the Webb Ellis Cup the Queen is looking at. Oh. And, of course, they're not going to get their hands anywhere near it.
Certainly not. What is good about this is that the Duke of Edinburgh is behind the Queen. And I just hope that a minute after this picture was taken, or seconds, the Duke of Edinburgh
he gave one of his usual asides.
Yeah, and just asked them why they're so pathetic and why they let the country down. What are they doing at the palace? Get out now.
Well, I suppose if it was your monarchy that you were running, you'd have them taken off to the Tower and beheaded, wouldn't you?
Well, obviously not quite that. But I see that none of them got a drink in their hand, which is a good thing, I suppose, because, you know, bladderation is certainly not on the menu for people who fail in the way that they have failed.
Certainly not. Now, a couple of tweets to read out to you.
Yes.
Here's one from Woodenhead who says, because every bus company bar wants to hire a smelly homeless tramp. Yeah, they are highly in demand, he says, Mr. Parry.
Why would anyone want to hire a homeless smelly tramp?
Well, you said they should get a job driving a bus.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Here's one from Hamo who says, a photo bombing Parry, and that's because somebody's put out that picture of us at my wedding.
Oh, right,
where
okay.
You're on the right pouring a glass of champagne.
Yeah.
B67 Dazza says it might be an idea to have Porky drug tested for his OTT rant about a packet of tissues.
I've read that out.
Why
earlier.
have you gone so quiet?
Because I was trying to make out why you were reading that out. And
you read that out?
I did read it out.
I didn't hear that.
Oh, yeah, well, you see, we weren't listening.
And what about the one from Ben? In old MG's wedding photo, Parry looks like a homeless Noel Edmonds plying the innocent groom with drink. Which is partially true.
That's a bit harsh. There's one here which says, of course, Trudy's very beautiful, and I like those sort of things. You know what I mean?
I've got a couple more pictures to put out, actually.
Okay, have you?
Yeah.
What about?
I've got a passport booth picture, which I think I'm going to tweet out in a moment.
Oh, and who's that?
You and the lovely Trudy in a passport booth.
No, you can't have any more pictures of me in her.
I have.
No.
I've managed to purloin a picture that was taken in those old-fashioned photo booths where you used to go in and have a picture taken.
Yes.
It's a very handsome picture.
Well, I can't ever remember even doing that.
Really?
I can't even ever remember doing that,
I'm
mate.
not surprised.
That's very odd indeed. Oh well, I suppose you better do what you've got to do.
Yeah.
Right now then, what we're talking about very shortly. Okay, very shortly. I'm not sure we've got time to do it now. Is the fact that right?
What are you doing now?
What I'm doing now is telling you that, you said to me, don't worry about the Lyme disease situation because you only get it where there are deer.
Yes.
Not true.
How do you mean not true?
It is spreading like wildfire.
Like wildfire?
Like wildfire.
Well, how many people have got it, for example?
Well, quite a lot.
How many?
Well, a lot.
Well, like more than 10?
Oh, a lot more than 10.
More than 100?
Yes, thousands.
Where?
We're into thousands
Where?
now. All over southern England.
Where have you seen these figures?
I've got these figures from research.
Oh, really?
Now,
I'm very interested to see that.
What I'm trying to tell you, is that and everybody now who goes anywhere near the country is being advised to wear long sleeve clothes in case
it's that kind of weather
the Lyme
now,
disease bug attacks your hand, your arm.
Well, when you say anywhere near the country, what do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, anywhere near the country.
Anywhere outside the city?
Yes, anywhere outside the city.
What about in a park in the city?
Yeah, in a park in the city.
Well, that's not in the country, is it?
Well, no, but I mean, I'm not supposed... I don't know whether these Lyme disease bugs get into parks.
They are wherever the deer are. And if there are deer around, they will be there.
Yeah, but they're not now. This is the point I'm trying to make to you. They're not just now... confined to areas where there are deer prancing around.
Are you sure?
I am absolutely certain.
Well, I haven't yet heard any of this information in any kind of detailed form.
No, I'm absolutely certain. I've researched
you might be certain, but all you're doing is scaremongering.
I'm not scaremongering. Believe me, I'm not scaremongering.
Well,
I have actually studied it in great detail, and we're all at risk now from Lyme disease. And do you know what? When you've got it, it can take doctors months, literally months, to diagnose what you've got.
Yeah, and it's possible that if you don't get it early enough, you can suffer from paralysis and all that kind of thing. I've told you all this before. But the point is that I think you're being slightly over-egging the pudding.
No, I'm not.
By saying that thousands of people have got it. I haven't seen that figure.
Yeah, it is true. It is true. Honestly, thousands of people are getting it or have got it.
Well, it says who?
Eh?
Well, it says who?
Me.
Well, where's your evidence, though?
Hey?
Where's the evidence? You know, where's the figure?
The evidence, mate. Look, wear long sleeves to avoid Lyme disease. That's the latest bit of advice that has come out from...
From who?
Right, Lyme disease can cause neurological damage and chronic fatigue.
Yeah, we know all that.
If untreated.
Yeah, we know all that.
Cases of the disease, which is caused by infected ticks, quadrupled in 12 years, with more...
Quadrupled in 12 years? From what?
With more than 1,100 diagnosed last year.
Oh, yeah.
That is a massive... In the last year, I visited 75% of the parks in London looking for these things, and I found them every time. So they are in parks. You're right.
Well, I've told you that. Wherever there are deer, that's where you can find Lyme ticks.
They don't have to be near deer anymore. Dr. Alison Cottle, a microbiologist at the University of Surrey, that's in Stockbroke Belt, by the way, said the ticks that carry...
Not a very impressive university, that, is it?
It's at Guildford. It's very impressive. So the ticks that carry the Lyme disease bacteria tended to live on a deer... but have spread to rodents. They're usually found in woodland. There isn't currently a vaccine. The only preventative... What are you laughing at? What are you laughing at, please?
It's because you sound like some kind of deranged town crier.
No, the only preventative strategies are to make sure you cover up really well, wear long sleeves and long trousers.
Right.
And if you're going to heathland and wooded areas, be very vigilant for ticks.
Yeah.
You might still get on your skin having returned from walks.
You cannot be serious.
You've got to go to the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine to get diagnosed.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So does that mean you're going to stop walking on Epsom Downs then?
Well, I tell you what...
Or are you just going to wear one of those, forensic suits?
No, I'm seriously thinking about it. I promise you. I'm not going to go out and start walking around if I get Lyme disease and start going loopy.
It doesn't send you loopy. It
does.
It just paralyses you.
It can do your brain in.
Well, you haven't got much left, have you?
I'm not going to respond to that.
Now, coming up in the next hour, I hope you've been preparing for winners and losers. You say you were preparing all day yesterday, but I suspect you were doing something else. Because you were in here for quite a few hours of it. And we've got that coming up. It's 4-3 to me, of course, and I'm getting favoured this week, so it'll probably be 5-3 to me tomorrow. But the voting will begin in around about half an hour's time, and we shall be sending out a tweet to make you vote with ease until midnight tonight.
On digital radio and 1089 and 1053 AM.
The Two Mics on Talk Sport.
Do you eat quinoa?
Good morning, I'm Mike Graham, he's Mike Parry. You're listening to the Two Mics, and we're keeping you entertained throughout the night. Coming up in this hour, we'll have more tales of all sorts of strangeness from the weekend, and of course we'll have winners and losers. At the moment it is 4-3 to me, and you'll be able to vote from around about 3:45 until midnight tonight, and then we'll declare the winner on tomorrow's show, when it's Ask Porky, of course, as well. 08717 223344. You're listening to Two Mics with me, Mike Graham, and Mike Parry on Talk Sport. Talk Sport, we are the Two Mics. There will be a podcast coming out a little bit later on, of course. How about this from Mark, right? He's in Bracknell.
Yeah.
And I think he may be a bit of a pedant, but he may have a point. He says, point out to Mr. Parry to get his facts right. Dixie Dean may have scored 18 goals in 16 games for England, but Derby's Steve Bloomer scored 28 in 23, and so has a better strike rate for England. Yeah. And then he says, also, it's a railway station. Train stations don't exist. What does he mean by that?
I don't know.
How does a train station not exist? I've been in many train stations.
I don't know. What's he referring to? Referring to my story about the tissues?
Maybe Camden Town.
Camden Town.
Or maybe you've been referring to train stations. I don't know.
He says it's a train station, not a railway station.
No, he says it's a railway station, not a train station.
Oh, I don't know what he's talking about. Sorry about that. It's too mystical for us.
It must be some kind of... I mean, I had a similar sort of a set two with somebody on Twitter over the weekend because South Eastern, the railway line that I used to use before I decided it was so hopeless that I'd actually get a car and drive up and down instead, issued this thing saying that they were changing the way that they were alerting you to problems on the railway.
Oh, yes.
Right? So that if you were in receipt of their email alert system or their text alert system or any number of other ways that they tell you that the trains aren't running, then they were changing it. Yeah. And I pointed out that, so they're now changing the way that they tell you the trains aren't running instead of making the trains run properly.
Yes.
And this guy said, well, that shows that you know nothing about how to run a train a company. Yeah. And I went, well, they don't know how to run one either.
No, they don't. It's absolutely true. Yeah. What a waste of time it was having that little spat with somebody.
Why?
Well, because, I mean,
Well,
all you do is moaning and whinging.
It's all part of the rich tapestry of social media,
Listen, talking about reading things over the weekend, have you ever come across Brian Blessed?
Brian Blessed. Well, we've had him on the show. We had him on the show years ago.
Oh, that's
on the
right.
mid-morning show.
What was it about?
Well, I think he was either involved in some campaign or other, or
that's right.
He was appearing in something. I don't know. Because don't remember we had him saying, giving us a little trail. Listen to the two mics on TalkSport.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we did. Yeah,
very specific voice that he's got.
This book's come out, right? He's written his life story.
You're going to talk about this story in the park, aren't you?
Well, not just that.
Yeah.
It's even more ridiculous than that.
I didn't believe a word of that story.
Well, so far there have been 3 quite remarkable stories which he's managed to sort of get leaked into diaries and things like that. One is the idea that he's walking through a park when a woman gave birth, and he actually gave birth, helped the woman deliver the baby, and then bit through the umbilical cord.
Which sounds mad.
Which I've never heard of before in my life.
No.
The second one is that, I mean, this is so mad. He met the Dalai Lama and has met the Dalai Lama on quite a few occasions and now claims to be a major advisor to the Dalai Lama.
Yeah.
The
Dalai Lama.
The Dalai Lama, because of the spiritual problems.
So he's not the Dalai Male, he's
No. The Dalai Lama. And he says he does it because the first time he met the Dalai Lama said, your brother died a few years ago, didn't he? And Brian Blessed said, yes, he did. He said, yeah, well, don't worry. He's come back in a new form. What do you call it when somebody
reincarnated?
Yeah, he said he's been reincarnated. And Brian Blessed said, really? How do you know that, Dalai Lama? And he said, because I know these things. And then gave him the address.
It's funny, because you say that a lot as well.
Yeah, that's right.
It's amazing that he's nicked your catchphrase.
Yeah,
I know these things.
Yeah, and then gave him the address of some terraced house in Rotherham or somewhere where his brother was now living as a new person.
Really?
But he doesn't say whether he went up there and knocked on the door and said, hi, bro, or anything like that.
So he's got a new book out, is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. But this is
his memoirs.
This is the third ridiculous story I just picked up last night. Brian Blessed found life a bit tough when he was a lad. Things were so tight that he used to play with roadkill. He said, you could do a lot more with a dead cat than you ever could with a lead soldier. He writes in his new memoirs, okay? Memoirs. Yeah, I used to lay one on a branch and pretend it was a leopard, then shoot arrows at it. I even used to act out scenes from the Jungle Book.
Oh, yeah.
It would be Bagheera the panther.
Bagheera,
And I would be Mowgli, whatever Mowgli is.
Well, Mowgli was the kid in the Jungle Book.
Oh, was okay. So
Have you never seen the Jungle Book?
No, I haven't.
Have you never read it?
No.
You didn't know Mowgli was the kid?
No, I didn't, honestly, no.
Right.
So one day a child didn't invite Blessed to his birthday party, right? A bit like me not inviting you onto the Clash of the Titans show, you know what I mean?
It's not up to you to invite me.
Well, it's not, but I have a bit of influence there, you know what I mean?
More like you not getting invited to Piers Morgan's birthday party, really, isn't it?
Well, I didn't care about that, did I?
No, of course you didn't.
No.
You went on about it for about 3 weeks.
No. So allegedly, says Brian Blessed, I shinned up a tree that was overlooking the fun with a freshly squashed cat. And squeezed the stomach so the entrails of the cut shot out all over the children and their table full of food. It was
appalling.
It was like something out of a Peter Greenaway film, whatever a Peter Greenaway film is. I suppose it's a monster film or something.
Yeah.
He said the children were very traumatised. The parents were traumatised. Even the police were traumatised when they were called to the scene. I mean, what on earth is that all about?
Well, I think maybe he's finally lost his marbles, Brian Blessed.
Well, I
mean,
think
he's
he
quite
has.
a colourful character, but I mean, some of these tales are certainly unexpected. And if they were so famous and wonderful, why didn't he tell them before?
Why
has he waited?
Know.
I mean, because he was talking about the situation in Hyde Park with a woman who was giving birth.
Yeah.
Back when he was working at Z-Cars, right? So you're talking about the 60s.
Exactly.
I mean, is he really just remembering a story from 50-odd years ago?
I don't know. I mean...
I couldn't believe the way that everybody just suddenly bought into it and went, oh, yeah, this is him. He's such a character. This is what he did.
I know. He makes most of his money out of voiceovers, doesn't he? Because he does all sorts of adverts, you know.
Oh, he does.
Underdog and all that kind of stuff, you know. And
in fact, at one point, you wondered if he was actually overdoing it slightly.
Yeah, you did.
He seemed to be doing everybody's advert.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I do remember actually meeting him one other occasion. I think I mentioned this to him when he came onto our show though a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And do you remember? Well, you probably don't, but Peter O'Toole did Hamlet at the Old Vic, which is just down the road from our studios.
Yes.
And it was the most appalling, according to some critics, the most appalling rendition of Hamlet ever seen. Because he was so drunk all the time. He's so intoxicated and couldn't remember his lines. And
was that part of the charm of going to see Peter?
Well, I think so, yeah. But he kept putting on the wrong uniform. He's supposed to be Hamlet, but he put on like a German soldier's uniform or something. Because he wouldn't quite understand what he was doing and what play he was in. And it was so...
Maybe a Danish soldier's uniform.
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah. But it honestly, it was so shambolic, it became almost like required watching, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's it. But Brian Blessed was in that play, and he claims he single-handedly, kept Peter O'Toole alive, by banning his bottles of booze and whispering his lines to him on stage and all that kind of stuff.
Well, maybe he did. I mean, he certainly is quite a character.
But,
I mean, he's been a larger-than-life character now for a long time, and maybe he's starting to believe his own publicity.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And, he was always at the centre. It's a bit like some of your stories. You're always at the centre of everything.
What do you mean?
Well, when you tell stories, you're always at the centre of everything. You're never on the outside of it.
Well, hang on, I only ever tell honest stories.
I know that.
You know what I mean?
I know that.
Hey, the other guy who really amused me over the weekend, Peter Sellers, right?
Yeah.
So there's a new book come out about Peter Sellers, and I think it's written from the perspective of one of his children, who said he was such an odd guy.
Yeah.
But Peter Sellers was a massive Rogeriser. I mean, huge.
Yeah.
He once wanted to give away his family because he felt like it was Sophie Loren, so his children could go and get looked after by somebody else while he was busy pursuing Sophie Loren.
Yeah.
And on another occasion, he went to Ryan O'Neill, the famous American actor, Love Story.
Yes.
Where do I begin to tell a story of how great a love could be?
Are you sure those are the words?
Yeah.
Do you remember who sang it, though?
Love Story, yeah.
I can't remember who sang
Andy
that.
Williams.
Was it Andy Williams?
Andy Williams,
He might
man.
have been.
Andy Williams.
He might have
See, I got one over on you there, didn't I?
Well, I don't know if you're right.
Where do I begin?
I can have a look if you like.
Yeah, we'll have a look. But anyway, what I was going to say to you was, he goes to Ryan O'Neill and says, listen, I've got a proposition for you. And Ryan O'Neill said, what? He said, I want your wife. And Ryan O'Neill said, what do you mean?
Yeah.
I want your wife. She's beautiful and I'm lusting for her and I want her. And he said, are you mad? He said, no. He said, look, I've just bought a new Ferrari. You can have the Ferrari. Give me your wife.
Yeah.
He was serious.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah, and he chased every single woman he ever worked with. He married Britt Eklund, right?
Of course.
He got engaged to Liza Minnelli,
which
I find a bit odd, to be honest.
Why?
Because, well, she was a very lively woman.
She was, yeah.
Very, very lively woman. And became obsessed with Sophie Loren and told he went home one night and his 10-year-old lad was in bed. Didn't usually very often go home in a situation.
Yeah.
Woke his son up to tell him he was leaving because he was in love with Sophie Loren.
When he was 10, his son was told
When his son was 10,
It's a bit harsh, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a bit.
Awful. Yeah, I got the lyrics here. It was Andy Williams that sang it.
Thank you.
Where do I begin to tell the story of how great a love can be?
Yeah.
You got that bit right. The sweet love story that is older than the sea.
Yeah, well, there you go, you see.
The simple truth about the love she brings to me.
Where do I begin to tell a story of how great a love can be?
Yeah. The sweet love story.
The sweet love story
that is older than the sea.
That is older than the sea.
So you've seen that film then? Hey, what are we going to do the quiz on this week, by the way?
Easy.
What?
The Battle of Agincourt.
The Battle of Agincourt?
The Battle of Agincourt.
Why?
It's coming up to the 600th anniversary.
Is it?
And I know all about it.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Battle of Agincourt.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the other thing I need to tell you is that, no, I never saw Love Story. And do you know why?
Why?
Because I read the prognosis on it, and it was too sad. It was about a
very sad film
who fell in love with a young lady, about the same age actually as when young Trudy and I were together in those pictures that you've been stealing and putting out tonight.
Yeah, I've just put another one out actually.
Have you? Which one?
The one from the passport booth.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Oh, I must have a look at that.
Yeah, it's on the 2 mics account.
I haven't seen that for years. In fact, I can't even remember it, to be honest. I don't know where you got that from.
You look as if you're having a good time.
But anyway, if they were in the flush of youth in Love Story, like Trudy and I were, and then suddenly she turned around and said, I've got cancer, I'm going to die, it would have broken my heart.
Yeah.
So I couldn't go and see a film like that. It'd be too sad.
Yeah.
Far too sad.
Yeah, I can imagine.
You know what I mean?
Here's one from David, who's talking, I think, about the spectators at Wembley, because a couple of people have been having arguments about the NFL and how exciting. It's 7-3, by the way, now to San Diego.
Oh,
Chargers,
my God.
David said that's because 95% of the spectators are Americans who save all year to be there and servicemen and families stationed there.
That's right.
I don't think that's true. Absolutely
true.
not true. Most of the people who go to the NFL games here are going because it's a big party atmosphere and all of that.
It's a one-off, and that's why they go. They wouldn't go every week. What I was going to say to you, on the cancer thing, right? I think we should say well done to a colleague of ours who doesn't work for us, Victoria Derbyshire, who works for the BBC in radio, who put out 2 pictures. One of herself on the morning of her operation because she had breast cancer, saying, I've got breast cancer. And one on the evening after operation in which she held up a card saying, no, I haven't got breast cancer. I've been cured. It was great because that will give tremendous inspiration and hope to to millions of women actually worldwide.
That's uncharacteristically magnanimous of you.
No, I think it's credit where credit's due. Yeah, well, don't worry about the time.
No, I'm worried about the time.
You worry too much about the time.
No, the time.
When I work on other shows like, of course, you didn't work on Clash of the Titans, did you?
Battle of the Titans.
Yeah, people don't seem to be that worried about the time as you are.
Well, I would say that shows indolence and a lack of efficiency.
Obsessed.
To be honest, I don't know who produces it, but they need to kick up the backside.
This poor old guy who's going to get all these lashings in Saudi Arabia.
Bienvenue au weekend sports breakfast avec Michelle Quinn and Georgie Bingham. The Talk Sport. Hey, it's the breakfast show that cooks up a soufflé of sport and a pan of chocolat of pre-match build-up every Saturday and Sunday morning on Talk Sport. The hors d'oeuvre to another big weekend feast of football. Hey, La, does anyone know the French for meat pie? The weekend sports breakfast with Mickey Quinn and Georgie Bingham. Saturday and Sunday mornings from 7 on Talk Sport with Renault Vans. 4 years warranty and roadside assistance as standard. Ooh la la.
Pneumonia strikes up to 1 in 100 of us every year. Don't let it be you. Vaccination can help protect you from the most common type of pneumonia. Speak to your pharmacist, doctor or nurse about pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination today, or search Pneumonia Strikes. Sponsored by Pfizer.
What do you think?
Oh, that's lovely on you, Jack.
Oh, yeah, it really suits you, Dad.
It's not too much?
No, it's lovely. It's really you.
Yeah, I like it.
Oh, it's a fixed rate tariff too.
And better than the other one.
Oh, yeah, that's dead nice.
You shop around for clothes, so why not for energy deals? Switching energy suppliers could save you up to £200. And with our independent guide and links to Ofgem approved comparison sites, it's never been easier. Visit goenergyshopping.co.uk.
Asper's Super Casino Westfield is giving away £100,000 of prizes throughout October and November with a £5,000 cash prize every week. Use your free Aspire card, £100,000 in prizes and a £5,000 weekly cash prize. Open 24/7, free membership too. Asper's Casino Westfield Stratford. So that's why they call it Super. Terms apply. Details at asperstratford.co.uk. Over 18s, play responsibly, gambleaware.co.uk.
This is the unique go-kart feeling of a turbocharged Mini Cooper 3-door hatch. And this is how it feels knowing that you got it for just £189 a month, plus initial rental. Book a test drive at your nearest Mini Centre or mini.co.uk/turbo. 48-month hire agreement from Mini Financial Services, £2,399 initial rental. Subject to status, guarantees may be required. Available for new vehicles ordered by 31st of December and registered by 31st of March. Participating retailers only. Mileage and other conditions apply when you return the vehicle. Visit mini.co.uk/turbo.
The Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast.
And ripping off his shirt to show his boxer's physique, complete with impressive six-pack.
This morning from 6.
A bit like yourself, John.
On Talk Sport.
She said you hurt her so. Good. She almost lost her mind. And now she says she knows that you're not the hurting kind.
I am.
She says she loves you.
Yeah?
Yeah? Yeah? She loves you.
Yeah?
Yeah? Yeah? She loves you.
Yeah?
Yeah?
Yeah.
You know.
What do you think of that?
It's up to you. I think that it's only fair. Pride can hurt you too. Apologize to her. Because she
You're not
loves
listening to this
you.
at all, eh?
What is it?
Yeah.
Well, you're not listening to it.
I am listening to it.
You're not listening to me either.
Sorry?
I've just been asking you, what do you think of this?
Oh, I didn't know that was you. I thought it was a voice coming out of this recording. What is it?
It's Peter Sellers.
Peter Sellers?
Yeah.
In what film?
Did you not recognise the words?
It's not the Pink Panther.
No.
No?
He was doing the lyrics to She Loves You.
Oh, was he? Oh, right, okay. Yeah.
Which was rather unusual.
Yeah, and what film was that in?
I don't know.
Well, I wonder why we listened to it then. Because of Peter Sellers being a mass Rogerizer.
Well, you were talking about Peter Sellers.
Yes,
and also
that's right,
because it had a connection to the Beatles.
Yes.
I thought you might appreciate it.
What
but
connection
you'd zoned out.
What connection to the Beatles?
Well, he's reading out the words to She Loves You.
Yeah, but what was it in? I mean, why was he reading out the words
it doesn't
to She
matter,
Loves
does
You?
it? It's the fact that he's done it.
I don't know.
Are you sure you're all here?
Yeah.
You're all there.
Of course I'm all. Have you
had any sleep?
Yeah.
Have you had any sleep?
Well, I'm getting a bit worried about the arrival of a particularly rare swan in this country. It's called the Russian Buick, right?
A Buick's a car, isn't it?
No, it's spelled Bewick.
Oh, yeah.
Now, they've been spotted down in Stockbroker Belt,
Is it not a native of these lands, then?
The thing is, the last time it arrived, we had the worst winter in 50 years. They come from Siberia.
I'd like a bit of snow this year, actually.
They come from Siberia, and
you know
believe
what
me,
will happen if it starts snowing?
What?
Your car will not go anywhere.
Of course it will.
And mine will.
No, of course it will.
And that's why I will be laughing at you as I drive past you.
No, you won't. Don't worry. But no, seriously, because I keep in touch with people on all these, what do you call them, internet-type sites about ducks and all that kind of stuff.
Internet-type sites about ducks?
Yeah. The arrival of the Buick Swan, believe me, it's an icy omen.
Really? So
where has
it arrived, then?
Wait?
Where has it arrived?
Gloucestershire.
Gloucestershire?
Yeah.
Right.
Which is near Stockbroker Belt, Surrey.
No, it isn't.
Well, it's a
Nowhere
bit.
near
It's a bit. It's
No,
quite
it's
near. It's
nowhere
quite
near
near.
Surrey.
It's quite near.
Well, Berkshire's in the way of it.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Berkshire's in the way of
As
it.
is Wiltshire.
And Wiltshire, that's true, yeah.
So it's quite a long way from Surrey.
Apart from that, it's quite close.
Buckinghamshire as well, you might say.
And Buckinghamshire, you're absolutely right, yeah. But anyway, I just thought I'd let people know. Now, that Peter Sellers, that was very good. That came from John, our film expert, didn't it?
It did.
And I'm sure it's a very, very relevant passage somewhere. Of course, I was the man who got into Peter Sellers' ward on his deathbed, I'm afraid.
Indeed, yeah, but a little bit too late, unfortunately.
He was already dead.
Now, there's truly picture of you in the passport booth.
Oh,
right?
yes.
Seen and Heard, who has a Twitter handle called Seen and Heard, says, actually, it's kind of sweet.
Oh, sweet?
It
Don't
is
like
kind
being
of
called sweet, do you?
And Dazza says, you can understand why he grew a beard with a face like that. And Paddy says, what happened with you two? I think people are actually quite genuinely interested. You look like quite a nice young couple. How old were you in these pictures? Do you reckon?
I reckon I was about 19.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I suppose lives just drift apart, don't they? You know, my professional life, a bit like yours, Mike, has seen immense movement around the country and the globe, so to speak, if you see what I mean.
Yes.
And even when in one place, not really in one place for very long. You know, I was chief foreign correspondent of the Daily Express, so you're away every other week.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
And obviously long periods of working in America.
Sometimes you would go away somewhere and just keep going, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you would,
and you wouldn't actually return to base for about 3 months.
You would. You could sometimes, yeah. But also, you know, long periods of tournaments. 6 weeks in Atlanta for the Olympics, you know, a month in South Africa, a month in Germany, 5 weeks in Germany. Yeah. All these sort of things happen, and that's not conducive to life, you know, in a domestic sort of situation. But, you know, we know all about that.
Here's a conspiracy theorist for you. Benjamin has tweeted this.
Right.
Where are you getting these photos? Is it Trudy sending them?
Well, only you can answer that. I don't know.
Well, I can't say.
No, well, you know, you say that. Now, listen, tell you what I was going to tell you, because you're talking about, you know, what happened, why didn't it last, and all that kind of stuff. More evidence about what I've been telling you recently, and that is that most of us are going to live 2 lives, not 1, because of the longevity of the human time frame.
That people are getting married twice. And all
They're going to have to. Middle-aged couples increasingly struggling with the idea of staying together forever. That's according to latest research, okay?
This is hot on the heels of the thing from last week or the week before, where it said that kids are going to now live to be over 100 on a regular basis.
That's right.
And you can't really possibly plan for any kind of retirement if everyone's going to live to be 110.
Absolutely.
You know, how are we supposed to fund that?
You know, you're absolutely right. Now, the thing is that this is a women's liber type thing, okay? And I've got nothing against women's libers, you know, women's
libers.
Rights. Yeah, you know, women's liberation.
You mean feminists?
Well, I suppose, no, not really. Women who think women deserve a better deal in life, you know, on things like equal salaries and all that, which I'm very supportive of. But represented by an Irish best-selling author called Marion Keyes, she says, you know, and she's 52, she says, look, I'm glad that women these days are more able to admit that they're in a happy relationship, they're dissatisfied with their life. Why don't they just get hold of it, make a change for the better and do something else?
In an unhappy relationship?
An unhappy relationship, yeah.
Well, I think it's impossible to imagine, you know, your parents or my parents getting divorced, isn't it?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yes.
I mean, no matter how much things were tough, no matter how things were difficult, people in that generation just didn't do it.
No.
Generally speaking.
I always wonder how I would have felt if my parents had divorced. You know, would I have felt like my world was shattered and, you know, my stability was all over the place and all that? But
I think
I
then,
don't know.
I think then possibly you might have done because not that many people's parents divorce. But nowadays, so many people's parents divorce. And I don't think getting divorced is a great idea for kids. There's no way that it's a good thing. But on the other hand, it happens to so many kids' parents now that you don't feel as if perhaps you're a bit of an odd one out because your parents aren't living together anymore.
Oh, no. It's I mean, it's de rigueur, isn't it, these days, that your parents probably won't stay together throughout the whole course of your childhood into adolescence.
You've got to say it's unlikely.
Yeah.
50-50, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
At this moment in time.
And after watching that brilliant Dr. Foster series, you know, which starred in my Porky TV review.
Porky Vision, yeah.
Porky Vision, which is on tomorrow night, isn't it?
It will be the night after.
Oh, night after,
Wednesday
night after. Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Help Porky. No, it's
Ask Porky.
It's Ask
Maybe
Porky.
we should have Help Porky.
No. It's Ask Porky.
Help Porky find Trudy.
Well, no, I mean, there isn't a big search going on. I just wonder where them pictures have come from. But anyway, what I was about to say to you, the Dr. Foster thing has apparently, thrown up a huge examination into middle-class marriage.
Yeah.
And how, you see, you've got to understand,
and
Mike,
the lies therein.
Exactly. Did you see Dr. Foster?
No.
Well,
I just relied on your kind of conversations about
the thing is, it was very...
I don't have time to watch television during the week.
It was very, very middle class, OK?
Yeah, sounds it.
So Dr. Foster lives in a lovely big detached house.
Yeah.
Her husband's...
She's a local doctor, right?
She's a local doctor in a village, which I saw one review refer to as a Hertfordshire village.
Was it not meant to be Stroud? Or somewhere like that.
Well, it was certainly the Midlands because the lad had an Aston Villa shirt on.
All right.
Okay.
I thought it was based in the West Country.
No. I thought it was West Midlands. I thought it was somewhere like Lapwick, which is funny enough where Andy Townsend and.
Okay.
But they said Hertfordshire. Well, I don't know why somebody in Hertfordshire is supporting Villa. But anyway, it's the point. So I'm saying that they lived in a lovely detached house. Yeah. Right opposite was the man who was the accountant to Dr. Foster's husband's business. Yeah. He lived in a lovely big detached house. Yeah. She ended up Rogerising him to try and get secrets about her husband's business out of him. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, it's pretty cunning, that.
Yeah, it was pretty
cunning.
It was pretty sort of desperate stuff.
The person that her husband was having the affair with was a much younger woman.
Yeah, it was the daughter of his friend, right?
The daughter of his friend, who's also a much more successful property developer.
Okay.
But he lived in a very big house. But the problem is, it was obvious that a lot of people were Rogerising other people's wives, and a lot of wives were Rogerising other people's husbands.
Yes. Well, I think there's a lot of that going on.
Well, I think, it's opened up a whole new world of possibilities, hasn't it?
For who?
Well, I mean, the possibilities of what's happening in these so-called secure and relatively prosperous...
Sleepy little towns.
And relatively prosperous communities.
Yeah, well, absolutely right. I mean, it goes on... I don't think it's a really great surprise to anybody. But, coming up...
it is a surprise. We all think that people are... what's the word for being loyal to your...
Faithful.
Faithful. We all think people are being faithful to their wives and husbands.
You spend your entire life having sex with married women.
I don't spend my entire life doing it. A few women who've been unhappy with their relationships on an interim basis, I've helped out.
Yeah,
that's true.
Well, that's why I'm surprised you're surprised. Anyway, now it's time for the winners and losers. Quite close last week, I seem to recall. I was being retweeted.
I thought I battered you.
No, you didn't batter me. No,
okay.
I battered you the previous week, where I had something like 400 against less than 100.
Right.
So we could get close again this week because you were making a bit more of an effort last week. Anyway, would you like to go first with your three losers of the weekend?
3 losers.
Yeah, go on.
Right.
That's how we start.
Okay. Losers. I'm just looking for my losers.
Don't tell me you haven't brought with you.
Yes, I have. Right. Okay. Here we go. Okay?
Go on, then.
My first loser. And now mine are pretty straightforward this week.
Let's hope you get them right this time.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, okay.
Pretty straightforward. Right, the
Obvious,
first one... Pretty straightforward. The first one is Gordon Strachan. because we talked to
Very
our
obvious.
Spanish correspondent. No, it's not very obvious. Gordon Strachan's a loser because although everybody in Scotland's saying, oh, the wee man did a great job, we nearly got there, the wee man, in fact, didn't do a great job because
they didn't get there.
Because they didn't get there. Northern Ireland got there, Wales got there with much more limited resources. So I have to, I'm afraid, nominate Gordon Strachan for not being able to motivate the Scottish team.
Right.
The second loser, right, this is a great one, I really love this, is Nicole Scherzinger.
Oh, yeah.
And Nicole Scherzinger used to be the girlfriend of Lewis Hamilton.
It's kind of on again, off again now, isn't it?
No, it's not. I don't think it is. And,
Well, she's broken up with him in the past.
Yeah, I know, but I just say, now, the reason I think she's the loser is because, A, he seems to be heading for his third world title, OK?
Yeah.
But did you see that in the wake of his victory in Russia, he was pictured with 20 Russian beauties?
So?
Did you see that picture?
I did, yeah.
Incredible picture. And they were
Well, this
all...
was the guy who was left behind by everybody else who went back to England, right? He had to sort of party on his own.
No. And they were all wearing Russian fur hats. They were
Well,
sent...
he was wearing a Russian fur hat
Yeah,
on
he
the
was.
podium.
He was. They were sent into his dressing room by Mr. Putin himself, the Russian leader, man who's suddenly just declared war on somebody in the Middle East and is firing missiles over to Syria, but they keep falling short and dropping into Iran.
Yeah, that's not very good.
But nevertheless, Nicole Scherzinger must have looked at him surrounded by the 20 Russian beauties and thinking, wow, you know, the world champion elect again, and I'm not at his side, right?
Well, why wasn't she at his side?
What?
Maybe she chose not to be.
Hey?
Maybe she chose not to be there.
Well, she wasn't there for one reason or another, OK? So you got Gordon Strachan, you got Nicole Scherzinger, and then
That's a very bizarre choice, that.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Not. And the third one, and it really, really pains me to have to nominate this person because I have to say that I've been a lifelong devotee. It's the Queen.
The Queen?
And it's the
You've got
Queen.
the Queen as a loser?
Yeah, because...
How have you managed to get that one?
Because she held the reception for sports stars tonight and more importantly, rugby sports stars for the Rugby World Cup, but forgot to ban the England team from coming because, of course, they're out the competition and should not have been at the reception in the first place.
So you don't think her magnanimity in defeat is a good thing?
No, I don't. I think that as she is our monarch and her subject had failed her badly, imagine if they'd failed in battle like they failed on the rugby field, they should have been banished from the reception. And I think the Queen should have toughened up about it and made it clear to people she did not want, because she recognising with losers makes her look like a loser in the rest of the world.
I don't believe
that. And those
that.
losers shouldn't have been there.
Yeah, I don't believe that
So,
at all.
so they're my three, OK? Pretty damn good, I would say. Gordon Strachan, Nicole Scherzinger and the Queen.
Very bizarre indeed.
Oh, I think they're brilliant.
Well, I think my three will trump yours absolutely no problem
they won't.
at all. My first losers of the weekend are England fans, right? Not just rugby fans who now have to suffer the ignominy of not being able to watch the final the final quarterfinals of the and the rest of the tournament of the Rugby World Cup, but also the football fans, because as we were saying earlier, you know, England have won all 10 games in qualifying. Roy Hodgson has done the best job that he possibly can, but no England fan is in any way excited about going to the Euros because they know that once they get to the Euros, it's just all going to be very, very predictable and boring and similar.
Very weak
so,
nomination.
unfortunately, England fans this weekend have had lots and lots to lose. My second big loser of the weekend is Japan. Record-breaking performance from them. They won 3 games in their Rugby World Cup pool group, but they're the first team ever to have won 3 games and not go through because of the points that everybody else had. So very unlucky for them. And my final loser, and the best one, I think, of the entire weekend, is this man here, Mr. Kyle Lafferty.
Yes.
I want to hear what he's about to say, but nobody's paying attention in there.
Kyle Lafferty.
Kyle Lafferty. He was asked who he wants to play when Ireland get to the finals.
Kyle Lafferty.
Neymar would be good to come up against. Obviously, I like to test myself against Neymar. I'm not too sure how many goals he scored in this campaign, so for me, I'm not too sure about the lads, but for me, it's probably Argentina or Brazil. Probably, I like to get in France.
He wants to play Argentina or Brazil.
Or Brazil, yeah.
In the Euros.
Yes.
Yeah, you spot the mistake.
I did spot the mistake, but again, a very weak nomination, Mike. Very weak.
You don't think that that's loser of the week?
Well, I think that's taking advantage of a young lad who's euphoric for having achieved things in life.
Taking advantage of a young lad.
Yes.
Well, those are my losers. Let's hear what the winners are.
Everyone's a winner, baby, that's no lie. That's no lie. You never fail to satisfy.
OK, let's hear your winners, see if they're any better than your losers. You're pretty pathetic, I have to say.
My winners are brilliant, OK?
Go on,
and again, there's something quite obvious about them, but they're solidly thought out, OK?
OK.
The first winner is Matt Fitzpatrick, who won the British Masters golf tournament at that course.
Which course?
You know, Woburn Abbey.
It was at Woburn.
Woburn Abbey.
Yeah.
Sponsored by Ian Poulter. Ian Poulter's competition there. Matt Fitzpatrick, 21 years of age. We've unearthed another brilliant golfer, and that's down to Poulter, but the real winner is Matt Fitzpatrick. My second winner, and this is a staggering one. It's a staggering one.
Did he pick up a load of loot for winning that then?
Load of loot, yeah. Load of loot, yeah. The second one, and this is a staggering one, is the Leeds Rhino player, Kyle Leah-Luai.
Hey?
Kyle Leah-Luai.
All right.
He's Formosan, OK?
He's what?
He's Formosan.
Formosan?
Yeah.
Where's that?
He comes from Formosa.
Formosa?
Formosa. Is it Formosa?
Formosa?
Formosa.
Where's Formosa?
What's the name of the country I'm
I've
thinking
no idea.
of? Formosan, yeah, Formosan. He's Formosan. Yeah, he's from Formosa.
Where's Formosa?
It's near Bali.
Bali?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. OK?
You're not thinking of Samoa, are you?
No. Formosa. It's called Formosa.
Formosa?
Yeah, so he's Formosan.
Is he?
Yes, yeah, definitely. OK. Now, the point is, his name is Kyle Leah-Luai.
Yeah.
He played in the winning Leeds Rhinos team that won the...
Sounds like that Louis song,
won the the Rugby Challenge Super Cup.
Yeah.
And guess what? 12 months ago, he's diagnosed with a potentially fatal heart murmur. But he played on, and he's still playing. That man is such a winner. I mean, he's done actually what I've done. He's looked death in the face with a chronic heart problem, and he's just got on with life. He's spat in the face of fate and got on with it. So, Kyle Leah-Luai, Matt Fitzpatrick, the winner of the British Masters at 21 years of age, and the third one...
Essentially, the Republic of Formosa is an unrecognised state.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. He's Formosan anyway. So,
is he from Taiwan, then?
What?
Is he from Taiwan?
No, he's not from Taiwan, no. And the third one is Igoris Pankratjevas. What's your problem?
Is he Formosan as well?
No. He's the Lithuanian manager who quit tonight because he felt he'd failed his country so badly that literally minutes after the defeat by England, which condemned them to last but one place in the group of 6, only San Marino, the hopeless San Marino below them, the gentleman, Igoris Pankratjevas, got up and said, that's it, thank you very much indeed, I've quit and walked out. That, to me, is a sign of a winner. A man who realises that he's let his country down, unlike some of the people who've let
So you make
Britain
him a
down.
winner for quitting?
I make him an absolute winner.
Even though you say if you're not winning, you're not trying hard enough.
I make him a winner
and that people shouldn't quit.
I make him a winner because his dignity in defeat was such that he couldn't live with his own shame. He walked out. That, to me, makes him a winner.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
I think they're three fantastic...
Those are bizarre. And
fantastic nominations.
This guy from Formosa, by the way, is definitely from Samoa.
Samoa, that's what I said. That's what I meant.
Formosa.
Well, I meant Samoa. It's nearby.
Absolutely hopeless. Right.
Yeah.
My first winner of the weekend is Simon Rookyard. From a place called Tildesley, right, in Greater Manchester.
Who's he?
He's an astrophysicist, okay? He went up to Scotland to take part in a massive international competition to find who could make the greatest porridge of all time.
Yes.
And he won it. It's called the Golden Spurtle Award, and he's
You're not serious.
the first Englishman to go to Scotland and beat everybody at any kind of porridge making.
What
and
a
I think
load
that
of
is a
rubbish.
fantastic thing. And do you know what the only ingredients they were allowed to use, which is the true Scottish ingredients of porridge?
Scottish oats, porridge oats.
Yeah, and what else?
Scots porridge oats.
Yeah, and what else?
Whiskey.
No.
Okay, I'll tell you.
Three ingredients.
3 ingredients, Scots porridge oats. Yeah. What else do you put in porridge? I'm just trying to think now. I'm looking at a bowl of porridge. No, I don't know. No.
Yeah, it's water and salt.
Water and salt.
No milk.
Right.
No sugar.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah.
My second winner of the weekend is Robert Lewandowski. This is a man playing for Poland, right, who managed to get Poland into the Euros, qualified for the Euros at the expense of Scotland and possibly the Republic of Ireland.
Yes.
15 goals he scored in the last 6 games.
Yes, but...
that is an incredible record. I don't care what you say.
But that's over 6 games. That's over months.
Goals.
That's
What do you
every
mean
month.
it's over?
That's not this
it's in
week's
his
winner.
It's in his last 6 games.
Oh, yeah, but he hasn't played 6 games in this week, has he?
No, it's in his last 6 games. He scored 15 goals.
Yeah, but he hasn't played 6 games this week.
What is
This
wrong
week's
with you?
winners, you idiot.
What is wrong with you?
Anyway, get on with it.
You
Get on with it.
complete plonker. And then my final winner, I'm going to have to say, is Australia's 13-man defence against Wales. Australia are a team that everybody loves to hate, but they are a team that knows how to win, right? They went down to 13 men against Wales.
Yes.
Wales couldn't score. Everyone said it was because Wales were incapable of being brilliant enough to get past them. But they were magnificent.
Yeah.
They were absolutely magnificent.
Well, that's what you think.
And if it wasn't for the fact that I would normally be supporting Wales to win the World Cup, I think I'd have to support Australia because they're absolutely extraordinary.
Oh, and the fact that the boss of
extraordinary.
Talk Sports Australia hasn't changed your mind at all. No.
Nothing to do with that at all. Those are my winners and my losers. Yours were terrible this week.
No, mine were great.
You've obviously not spent any time thinking about
I have.
this. And one of them is completely wrong.
No, it's
the
not.
The bloke from Samoa that you said was from a country that doesn't exist.
999.
Yeah, I would call 999 if I were you.
What?
This is Talk Sport.
Hi. Hi, I'm here to trade in my trainers.
Trade in your trainers?
Yeah, they're really old. Didn't buy them here. Seen better days, to be honest. I wouldn't get too close. I want to put them towards some lovely new ones.
Sorry, sir, we don't do that.
Really? Vauxhall do. I just gave them my old banger and got £2,000 towards a new one.
Think you can't afford a new car? What a load of scrap. On top of all our other great offers, we'll give you £2,000 scrappage for your old one to put towards a brand new Vauxhall. Visit your local retailer or search Vauxhall Scrappage for more information. Trading car registered in your name for at least 90 days. Offer available to individuals and small businesses. UK supplied vehicles only. Exclusions apply. Limited time at participating retailers. Full T's and C's apply.
Alex Haywood from London turned a £1 entry into £10,000 in a one-day fantasy football contest at mondogold.com. And you could too. Register today, pick your team, deposit cash and play in free or paid one-day tournaments. So far, over £200,000 has been won. Play today at mondogold.com and enter promo code ALEX for a bonus on your first deposit. mondogold.com. Fantasy football, real cash. Players must be 18 or over. Mondo Gold supports responsible gambling.
I'm here with Oliver Mangum, Applications Director at Fairfield Control Systems. Oliver, how has hiring apprentices improved your business?
Our apprentices have been essential to our business growth. Their knowledge and talent helped to bridge a skills gap. In 3 years, our company has doubled in size, and we have a 95% retention rate, and all 7 of our apprentices are now permanent members of staff.
Thousands of companies like Fairfield Control Systems are realising the value of apprenticeships. With a free recruitment service and the possibility of a grant of at least £1,200, there's never been a better time to hire an apprentice. Find out more at greatbusiness.gov.uk/apprenticeships.
The BMW i3. It's not just an electric car. It's an electric car that drives like a BMW. Rentals from £299 per month. Discover more at bmw.co.uk/i3. £3,699 initial rental, 36-month hire agreement from BMW Financial Services, subject to status and availability for new vehicles ordered before 31st of December 2015 and registered by 31st of March 2016. UK only, guarantees may be required. Mileage and other conditions apply when you return the vehicle.
Colin Murray, weekday mornings from 10 on TalkSport with Wix. Every weekday morning, get opinionated comment.
It's entertainment we want.
Exclusive interviews.
And we're also going to be talking to Jim Courier.
You sure they're not sending a courier with some message?
Named Jim.
An unmissable debate from the biggest names in sports broadcasting every day.
Everyone wears the heart rate monitor. Yeah, but you give yours to your dog.
Colin Murray, weekday mornings from 10 on TalkSport with Wix. Let's do it right.
Talk Sport. Bang on target.
They've done it!
Work hard and you play hard.
On DAB Digital Radio and 1089 and 1053 AM.
You won't lose out.
The power of teamwork.
It's easy.
Talk Sport.
More phone calls from the lost and found of free speech.
Outrageous opinion and controversial comment with the Dual Voltage Dream Team. The Michaels, Graham and Parry. He's back, is he?
Through the night until dawn's early light.
The two mics, Parry and Graham on Talk Sport.
I'm all lost in the supermarket. I can no longer shop happily. I came in here for a special offer, guaranteed personality. I wasn't born so much as I fell out.
This is Talk Sport. We are the two mites. There will be a podcast coming out. Tomorrow night's Ask Porky, of course, and then it's Porky Vision on Wednesday night. And then Thursday night, we've got an early shout on it already. It was going to be a Porky quiz on the Battle of Agincourt.
That's it.
As you've called it.
Yes.
Now, as far as the winners and losers is concerned, it's the usual rules apply.
Yes.
Retweet for Mike Parry this week. Favourite for me. And if you go to the two mites Twitter account, you can vote there, and the voting will be open until midnight tonight, so that some people who haven't heard the show live and who listen to it on a podcast only will be able to cast their vote. And I have to say to you, Mr. Parry, that at the moment I'm in the lead by 27-9.
Rubbish.
So by a factor of 3.
Rubbish.
And here's
How
one
can
from,
that be? Because the audience didn't even know to vote for until you just told them.
Well, they've been voting ever since the competition ended, which was about 5 minutes ago.
But it's only since we came back off the break that you told them who to vote for. They couldn't be voting for me.
No, the point is that the tweet was sent out at the end of the period of the last segment, right?
Right.
And now people have already... They're very quick on the uptake, our listeners. They don't have to be told, go here, press that button, get your information device fired up, make sure somebody finds Twitter for you and all that. Andy says this, anyone Porky picks, old MG claims it's too obvious.
Yes.
This is the man that pulled Sergio Aguero out of the hat. Hashtag fool.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure what you're talking about, Andy.
No, neither am
I made Sergio Aguero a winner last week because he'd scored 5 goals for Manchester City, which I thought was pretty unusual.
Yes.
Ashley says this, if Mike Graham wins after nominating England football fans and Carl Lafferty as losers, then I give up.
Yeah, exactly.
Tom says, even by your low standards, Porky, that was poor.
No, it wasn't. It was brilliant.
And Woodenhead says, ha ha ha, someone who lost and then quit as a winner and a guy from a country that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Parry loses.
Don't be ridiculous. The country does exist. I just mispronounced it. That was all.
Formosa.
Yeah.
As opposed to Samoa.
Don't even worry about it. Listen, those things that you stand on, which I saw in Portsmouth, where you roar around on the streets, standing on a board that goes...
Oh, these hoverboards.
Yeah, they've been banned.
Yeah, they have, I wonder why they've been banned.
I don't know. I suppose because they're dangerous, really. If you're hurtling along and... by the way, have you had any more response to the picture of me and Trudy?
Well, we've had quite a few, actually.
Oh, really?
Here's one from Sue in Tunbridge, who's actually texted into 81089. She said, I do hope that Trudy's listening to this show. She will realise what a lucky escape she had from the Oompa Loompa.
Yeah, that's a bit harsh. She'll realise that, her life could have been immensely different. Now, getting back to these, what do they call them? Power boards, are they?
Well, they're sort of called hoverboards.
Hoverboards, that's right. Remember I saw those 2 kids outside the station in Portsmouth, and believe me, they were masterful in the way that they
Well, you told me about
things.
it, but I've never actually seen anybody using one live. I've seen
honestly, Mike...
I mean, this is the thing a lot of footballers have been seen on as well, isn't it?
No, I don't think so.
Are you sure?
Yeah, the best way to describe it is, what do you call those things that you put railway lines on? Sleepers.
Sleepers, yeah.
Right,
like a plank.
Yeah, honest to God, that is exactly what it is, with a wheel on each end. You see what I mean?
Right.
And these kids...
Yeah, but they're shaped in a different way, though, aren't they? They're not just a flat piece of...
they're almost
plastic.
flat. They've just got 2 recesses where your 2 feet go into. Yeah. But mostly... I was amazed the way these kids were controlling them, because, honestly, only a kid of 16 or 17 with a very lithe body could control them the way that these 2 were. Yeah. But then I've been on the internet and seen other people trying to do it, middle-aged people, and it's hideous, honestly. They're falling all over the place, leaning forwards, leaning back, can they make it work?
Right.
So I can see how they could be a danger, but the kids couldn't be a danger because they're not as dangerous as skateboarders.
It depends where they're going to use them, doesn't it?
Yeah, I suppose so. But anyway, listen, talking about that, if you were skating around inside a supermarket, right?
Yeah.
And you didn't want to pay 10p for your bag or 5p for your bag, you would nick the trolley or the basket. Will you admit that now?
Well,
will you admit that it's started to happen?
I'll tell you what I've been staggered by, right?
Yeah.
And I will admit that I must have underestimated the ridiculously petty nature of the people that live in this country, right? Because in Scotland and in Wales, and I believe in Northern Ireland as well, they've had a 5p tax on bags for as long as anyone can remember. They've certainly had it for a while.
Well, maybe they've got used to it.
But nobody has had a problem actually paying it, right?
Yeah.
In this country, instead, what you get is a load of people who, for some reason, have decided that they can't pay 5p, which, to be honest, if it was knocked onto the price of whatever they're buying, they wouldn't even notice, right?
Yes.
And instead, they're coming up with all these elaborate plans of how to get rid of trolleys, take baskets away.
That's right.
I mean, it strikes me as bonkers. It's absolutely bonkers.
And not only that, but I'm not joking.
I could not believe what you said would happen, and I'm happy to admit that I was wrong.
Right, okay.
Because I know that you very rarely do that. I'm happy to admit that I was wrong, because I had no idea that we lived in a land full of so many complete and utter idiots.
And you won't believe this. I tell you what I saw over the weekend.
Go on.
The individual plastic bags, each tagged with a theft device, so that if you take them out of the shop without paying for them, the bleepers go off.
Yeah.
I mean, each bag.
Yeah.
What's
wrong with people?
Those anti-theft devices cost apparently about £10 each.
I mean, every single place I was in, I wasn't in that many shops this weekend, as many as the week before, but everywhere I'm going now, everyone's walking out without a bag.
Exactly.
And they're carrying all the stuff in their arms, dropping it,
or
you know.
It's in the trolley.
Well, no, I mean, I haven't seen anyone doing that.
Well, I have, believe me.
And I find it staggering that people would do that.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you'd always see trolleys taken outside of, for vandalism.
And you know what the other
purposes
danger
and all
is,
that.
don't you? You know what the other danger is? I mean, quite often when I'm in a supermarket, I don't take a trolley because it just... Having a trolley means you want to fill it up. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So my psychological...
Well, you're only shopping for one, aren't you?
Eh?
You're only shopping for one, so you don't really need a trolley.
Well, I might. I'm a basket I'm talking about. You know, sometimes you buy big things in a basket and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I deliberately don't because I think psychologically I'm just going to fill it up. So I always just use my hands. So I can only take.
So you
as
don't
much
even
as I
use
can
a
carry.
basket?
No, I don't use a basket.
Really?
Never use a basket.
Do you not have to, to find yourself balancing?
No.
bits and pieces?
No. I'm smarter than the average bear. But what I do
Well,
sometimes.
what about if you're buying wine and stuff like that? Well, I'm not trying to cast aspersions.
No.
Assume that if you buy, do you get a wine carrier?
No. You see, the thing is, I can judge on each day what I need.
Right.
And there's a Tesco Express close to home.
Uh-huh.
So I get the wine from there because I've only got to walk a few hundred yards.
Right.
But the other stuff
Why don't you just get it delivered?
Well, because I'm not there very often.
But you can have it timed. You can, reserve an hour for when you're going to be there.
No, I've had my bell disconnected anyway because I don't like people ringing it all the time. So if they
they
delivered
shouldn't
it,
be ringing it if they're not delivering anything there.
well, yeah, but if I delivered it, they'd want to ring the bell, and when I couldn't hear the bell
They
because
can
I've disconnected it, they'd drive off.
You can say there's no bell, and they can have them ring your phone.
That's what I tell people. Somebody's coming to service my boiler again.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought you just had all that done.
I have, but the timing's gone all weird on it.
They've messed it up.
Well, I don't know they've messed it up, but when I want it to come on, it delays by about 40 minutes and then comes on when I want it to go off.
Yeah.
It's all a bit odd. But anyway, it's going to happen, but they know to ring my phone number, not the bell. Now, what I'm going to say is that... so sometimes I do this. I overstretch myself and I put tins of stuff in my pockets.
Yeah.
If I've got a a casual
if
jacket
you're doing
on.
that now, you're more likely to get done over by the security guards.
This is the problem.
Yeah.
So one time, I'm at the checkout,
Right.
and I've given her all the stuff.
Yeah.
And then literally I'm halfway out the shop when I suddenly, oh no, I've got a little tin of beans, baked beans in my pocket.
And it didn't go off? It didn't, the old
Well, I hadn't left the shop.
No, okay.
So I turned around, went back. I said, look, I'm awfully sorry because obviously somebody else had taken my place.
Yeah.
I said, I've walked off with this. I said, I put it in my pocket because I kept dropping it. And it sorted out. But I mean, one of these days I could fall foul of that, you see.
could, yeah.
And,
because I think it seems now that the security guards are getting much more vigilant about what people are taking out of the shop. I mean, the idea that they're putting security tags on plastic bags, which they used to give away for free.
I know.
It's
Unbelievable.
ridiculous.
But
isn't it?
of course, you being a former shoplifter would be aware of this, wouldn't you?
I'm not a former shoplifter at all.
Well, you've made up a story then that you've told on the show several times. You used to steal bars of chocolate from...
When I was a schoolboy.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not being a shoplifter, is it?
You were a shoplifter, weren't you?
No, I wouldn't say that.
Well, you stole stuff from a shop.
I would say that once or twice there was a bunch of boys would go into the local tobacconists.
What? Some guy is working his butt off 22 hours a day.
Of course, you would take a view.
Trying to.
Of course, you would take a view.
To earn a living.
The man who's stolen everything in his life,
and a bunch of filthy little scumbag
we weren't
schoolboys
filthy.
Come in and you are morally you filthy scumbags who go in and try to destroy this man's
living.
living.
What about the time you stole the guy's football tickets?
What?
What about the time you stole the guy's
I never
football
did.
tickets?
I never did.
You relieved him of them when he was in a coma.
They had to be relocated because he wasn't going to be able to use them because he got his face smashed in.
And you
by
relocated them for him
by an Italian policeman with a tear gas canister.
You relocated them for him by taking the seat.
I assisted with the full knowledge of his family.
Yeah.
But going in and stealing goods from a shop trader who's trying to earn a living and support his family
I would say
and
that
his children by stealing his goods.
The stupidity of youth.
That is
I would
so
never
horrendous.
Never describe myself as a shoplifter.
That is so horrendous. I honestly, I can't even take it in. It's just horrendous.
Your fake kind of overreaction.
No,
it's pathetic.
Just horrendous.
Now, David has asked me for a quick update on the NFL before the end of the show. It's currently 10 points apiece.
Anybody
it's in the fourth
cares.
quarter, about 12 minutes to go. That's Pittsburgh against San Diego. We'll keep you updated.
Well, the Americans
throughout.
will call this game off now, won't they?
Why?
Because they don't have draws. They don't believe in draws. That's why
it's not finished yet.
That's why association football took so long to get established in America.
So why would they call the game off when it's drawing?
Well, they don't. They have to have a winner. They have to have a winner.
Yeah, well, they've got 12 minutes to get a winner.
Listen, do you know who that Bill Bryson guy is?
Yes.
I'm starting to dislike him.
I really like him, actually.
He wrote the book...
Why don't you like him?
Because he wrote a book called Tales from a Small Island.
Great book.
Have you read it?
Yeah.
You told me you hadn't read it.
No, I didn't.
I asked you a few minutes ago.
No, you didn't.
When we were in the break. I said, have you read the book? And you said no.
Things.
You said you hadn't read it.
You started to imagine things.
No, you said you hadn't read it. Now you're saying you read it. Anyway, he's written another one, and that's even worse. Take it. Latest book, The Road to Little Dribbling, is a follow-up to the best-selling Notes from a Small Island. But I'm sorry, what he does is he tries to make out we're all weird here in Britain, takes the mickey out of us.
Well, no, he loves Britain.
Push off back to America, Bryson, you bum.
He also writes books about America.
You want to come over and start criticising our people?
There's a movie currently out about one of his books in America, about a walking trail in the States.
A walking trail?
A walking trail.
And where's the trail go to?
I think it's the Appalachian trail.
Appalachian. What a load of rubbish.
You've never heard of that, have you?
I have, yeah, because they made a film about it, actually. And the film, I think John reviewed the film, and it wasn't that good.
That's what I just told you.
Oh, did you? Oh, did you?
Dear
I wasn't listening, sorry.
I think you better go for sleep.
No.
Or either that'll plug yourself into the mains or something.
Yeah, I'll do that, yeah.
On the way home. Maybe you could latch yourself to the boiler so that when the guy comes round and starts shooting bolts through, you might get some kind of stimulation.
Or maybe I could just put the heel of my boot into your face.
Anyway, if anyone knows where Trudy is, after all this Trudy picture action that's been going on this show, by all means get in touch. And don't forget, you can vote at the two mics, retweet for Mr. Parry, favourite for me, and we will have the vote count at midnight tonight. That's 8 hours from now.
Retweet for Porky. Vote Porky, vote often.
Yeah, you want to know what the score is at the moment?
No, I'm not.
29 to 50.
In my favour?
No.
In my favour? No. It was 29-7 before in your favour, so
Yeah.
it must be in my favour now.
It's 29-50 in my favour. I'll show you the evidence. This is Talk Sport. We are the two mics.
Look at the light!
Don't forget to follow the two mics at the two mics on Twitter and on YouTube. Just look for Two Mics TV.
You know, it just came out of the blue one day. Oh, what can we do to be popular? I know. Make Jeff Hurst the Knight of the Realm. Very well deserved, Jeff, but he should have gone to every other one of the 1966 World Cup winning team.
Yeah, who's still waiting for one.
Well, Alan Ball's dead, so he won't get it now. But Bobby Moore didn't even get one. He's dead as well.
Just shut up before you get into more trouble.
If you love the Two Mics podcast, you'll love the live show. Weekday overnights from 1am on DAB Digital Radio and 1089 and 1053 AM and via the TalkSport app. TalkSport, your Premier League station with exclusive commentaries every weekend.
What an absolute corker!
TalkSport.